Yeah. Stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way up, way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation. Now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Water all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them.
Yeah, man. Salute everybody in the building. Salute, clap it up for boxing, clap it up for yourselves. One more time. That combat community. We in the building. We are in the building, man. Salute to everybody in the building. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday News Day. You know, this is my favorite day of the week. This is when we bring it full circle. All the nonsense stacks up and we do it like this every Tuesday, starting off the week right. Shout out to everybody who's in the building right now. 9 people in the building, 10 people in the building. We going up. Please remember to hit those like buttons. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, obviously take a moment to do that. But hope everybody's doing well, man. We got so much to talk about. Man, it's just moving along. It's moving so fast. I hope I can actually get everything in today. You know what I mean? So much going on. We finally got a fight coming up this weekend. I think everybody's anticipating. I mean, boxing's been doing what it's doing, but I feel like January's kind of been resting it up, just kind of getting into the new year. We're about to go into a real decent card, in my opinion. We'll talk about that card as well. Obviously with Steve Nelson, Diego Pacheco. News coming out right now with Romero and getting involved in the conversation. Another PBC fighter, right? Getting into the conversation of getting in some big fights. This one with Ryan Garcia. Looks like Turkey's trying to put out a big triple header. It's going to be in Times Square, New York. All the people who said, you know, I mean, I guess Bob was just a little off on his information as far as Turkey never coming back to America again, right? We'll talk about that as well. We got, you know, Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, Gervonta Tank Davis. The news just going. We'll start somewhere, and by the time it's all said and done, I'm sure we've covered most of it. Salute to my co-host Ray Davis in the building.
What's going on? People in the building. Salute everybody. Salute. A little under the weather a little bit, but I'm good.
No, God is good though, man. You in your home, a roof over your head. Got that temperature control in there. I'm sure you get some of that cough medicine in you. You got a wife over there to take care of you, some kids to bother you, bro. You got anything to live for, man. Being a little bit under the weather, got to put some perspective on it. You're doing great, Ray. You're doing real good out here, man. You're doing real good out here, baby. You know, that's right. Get that tea in, whatever it is. Oh, shoot. You know what? I got to get my coffee, bro. It's been sitting. I wonder if it got cool on me, bro. I hit the Keurig up with the coffee, and I forgot to go over there and grab it. I'm definitely about to step up and go grab that. Ray, talk to the people for a half a second while I run over and go grab my coffee right quick.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, I just want to say, yo, man, listen, we've been doing our thing lately, man. I'm watching boxing. Can't wait for this first event, second event of the year to come out. We got, yeah, I'm on drugs. You right. I love drugs, bro. No, I don't do drugs, bro. You wildin'. It's all right, you sis. Much respect to you, though. But listen, man, at the end of the day, I like this Diego Pacheco fight with the Steve Nelson card. You know what I mean? We got Andy Cruz on that card coming back. It's something to look forward to.
Ernesto Mercado, too, is on that card. He's fighting Antonio Moran, man. I mean, we'll play with the. That's a decent little card coming up. I'm just gonna be honest with you, just decent ass little card. All types of other stuff going on. Right? I don't even know where to start off. I mean, I guess we could start off what everybody wants to talk about, should want to talk about. If you're not, well, let me run down the room a little bit. Say what's up to the folks in the room. Salute the Secret Dance Moves in the building. Support. Really salute you, Secret. Secret Dance Move. Salute the Fire Frequency. The Ambient One. Salute Ray. Salute to you, Dan, being one. Salute, King. Hey, LaRon, what's good, family? Starting to see you becoming a little bit irregular here. Got so much to talk about. Let me see. By the way, Clay, let me see. I don't know how much. I don't know much about a certain boxing channel beginning, but I was in there Monday and he was bad mouthing you, saying he made you, and that boy know it. Hey, man, I know who you're talking about, and yeah, I guess he's back. Did he make me? I don't know, man. I was up there, you know what I mean? I was building with him. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe he could take. I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel bad or care about it, but I'm happy to see he's back. It looks like he's in a better space. Yeah, man, and that's always a good thing. I can't really get bothered by it. I don't know what to respond to that. You know what I'm saying? To respond to that, he made me, that boy know it. I mean, I'll say like this. He's obviously impressed with what he's made, and he wants the world to know that he had a large part in making it. So I'll take it as a compliment. How about that? I'll take it as a compliment that he thinks that this is a very successful movement that's going on here. He thinks it's very informative. And he sees me moving in a successful way, and he wants the world to know that he had a large part to do with it. I got no problem with that. That's okay, man. Other than that, though, on to the next one, right? It is what it is. Salute to Mr. Big Play Brady. Salute to you, King. Ross Cop, my guy, Mr. Your favorite voice. You know what I mean? AJ Moore, salute to AJ Moore in the building. Band up in the building, man. I got 2 cents. Salute to 2 cents in the building. Let me see. Yeah, pretty much got everybody, man. But yeah, a lot to build on this boxing talk. All right, on this boxing talk, I'm trying to figure out where to really start from. Where do we start today? I mean, should we just get right into Turkey? Pause. You know what I mean? Shit, I'm a hater. Yeah, shout out to you, Roscoe, for sure. You gotta have haters, man. I'm gonna be real with you. I think the homie, it's beyond hating. I don't even think it's hating no more. I think he wants recognition. And look, I'll even say his name, Fanon, International Boxing. Salute to you, family. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak on your platform, building with you. Our situation went sour. Things got a little personal. You felt some kind of way about the way I was moving outside of the channel, and we are where we are today, right? But look, I appreciate the opportunity you gave me to sit up there and build with you. And look, man, I'm happy that you really think that much of me, that you periodically will say my name every now and then. I appreciate it, genuinely speaking. You know what I mean? That's it. Ain't gonna badmouth you. I don't think that's really helping me out, and I don't know how much that's helping you out. But yeah, bro, if you're gonna be a hater, be a hater. If you're gonna celebrate me and push the product for me, man. No problems at all, man. But let's move forward and talk. Go ahead. You about to say something, Ray?
I said boxing hacker salute.
Oh, salute the boxing hacker in the building. No doubt. Oh my God, why do people
you spelled your name wrong? It's CURT, but it's okay. We understand.
No doubt. What Kirk Douglas said. Kirk Douglas said something. We all know y'all lying. Oh, okay, Kirk. That's what's up. Yeah, you checking in for the lies? That's what's up. He checking in for the lies. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, man. So let's start off with Turki Al-Sheikh continuing to move the needle in the space. Ray, he just don't stop, right? We got to talk about him on a week-to-week basis, because it seems like every single week that goes by, Turki's doing something. He's moving the needle in one way or the other. And you know, he did the huge Ring Magazine gala a few weeks ago, right? Or a week ago, however long ago. The whole algorithm went off, right? What the hell? You know, Tank expressed some ill feelings about what he was looking at, but it doesn't stop this guy, man. This guy just continues to move. He keeps on moving with that momentum. You might think he doesn't even hear all the hatred coming, you know what I'm saying, from the outside coming in. He continues to move the needle, continues to strive to make the best matchup, and continues to try to get the attention of the boxing fan who wants to see good boxing. And he makes this announcement on a triple header in Times Square, New York. We got Ryan Garcia. It was going to be Isak Cruz, right? But it looks like it switched up. We'll talk about that as far as Rolly Romero getting involved in the conversation. We got Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. And then, you know, something for the heavyweight division. You know, he's got to put the heavyweight division in there. He's going to throw Martin Bakoli against F.A. Jagba there as a third fight on there. And that's a huge fight within itself. We'll talk about that, obviously, and what that means for the heavyweight division. Martin Bakoli obviously made a huge statement against Jared Anderson, put himself in a conversation with all the big dogs, and we all want to see him in a fight, but it looks like Turki's building him up, right? Let's not throw him in there with Anthony Joshua, throw him in there with Joe Parker, throw him in there with all the killers yet. Let's bring him in there, and also let's bring F.A. Jagba, who's also on his trajectory heading back in the conversation. He's also been making moves. Right. So some real good fights on that card. What do you think about that triple header at this point?
I mean, that's a dope matchup. I mean, especially when we got the eliminations, you know what I mean, in that fight, in two of those fights. That happens to be one of the greatest. And I think that what Turki's doing is he's showing his versatility in boxing. He's showing that he doesn't, you know what I mean, there's no means to his end. He just wants to see great fights. He wants to see the people get the fans what they want, basically. At the end of the day, he wants to get the fans what they want. And that's what it's all about, man.
No doubt, man. Definitely, man. Turki doing his thing. Bringing Ryan Garcia in, and I know people have issues with Ryan Garcia. You know, me myself, I hold a little contention for the way the young bull approached some certain topics earlier last year before his suspension. You know, but as far as boxing is concerned, always interested in seeing Ryan Garcia fight. Always interested in seeing Ryan Garcia get an opportunity to actually make a real statement in the game. I think he made a real statement in the game against Devin Haney with antics. He kind of made his presence felt, a little bit of shock value, right, that he brought with all the antics and all those things that he did. But I don't think he's really had an opportunity to really show out or showcase his real boxing talent. For me, I haven't been able to get my finger on the pulse of who Ryan Garcia is in his boxing space outside of the marketing that he brings, right? Like he brings that you can call it a skill set to the space of marketing and selling fights. Any fight that he's in, he makes it very interesting on the build up to the fight. But he's never fought for a championship. He's never had a belt. He's never achieved anything. And it seems like this time around, Ryan has calmed down a little bit, being that he's working with Turki. He knows that the antics can only go so far, and doing with this Turki Al-Ashik situation, you've seen him kind of like become a little more human. Dare I say, Ray, I've actually enjoyed this version of Ryan Garcia a little bit. Pause, right? I'm enjoying the sound comments and the responses and him not going crazy and jumping. He still, he still plays on the border of going out the lines from time to time, but it does look like he's settled down into the boxing space. How do you feel about Ryan Garcia and what you're seeing of him right now?
Listen, man, people don't change overnight, you know what I mean? And listen, as far as him being a boxer and getting in the ring, hey, let him do it. As far as his personal life and things outside of boxing, I really have no care for him. I just think that Ryan has always been, I mean, they labeled him a Ford King, which I never even thought he was a Ford King because I never thought he held a title to be considered a Ford King. I thought it was Shakur. He took Shakur's spot because Shakur wasn't in the division or in the conversation at the time. But, you know what I mean? Ryan has made a name for himself. Ryan has a fan base. Ryan has he proved that he's the biggest name in boxing outside of Canelo, to be also honest with you. So, I mean, Ryan is Ryan, man. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not a fan. But, you know what I mean, I'm not a hater either. I mean, I just really don't care for him.
Right. As far as boxing is concerned, I'm interested in a lot of Ryan Garcia boxing. I'm not gonna lie. There are fights I want to see him out there in, but I want to see him prove himself. I'm noticing, I want to see this chapter in Ryan Garcia's career. I want to see him be more active. I want to see him focus more on the greatness, on the legacy, which I have a feeling that he's interested in that. That's why he's gotten alongside of Turki, and I'm sure Turki's gotten that confirmation from him as well. One thing about Ryan Garcia, he's always looked like he's always trying to challenge himself and fight the most dangerous fighter he can fight. I don't really see him cherry picking or doing things of that nature, even though we'll get into that conversation a little bit, because coming off of a year-long suspension and not having any fights, he's bringing up Rolly Romero in the conversation, right? And Rolly, ever since the Tank Davis fight, that was like the best version of Rolly Romero I saw, right? In that Tank Davis fight, I actually walked away like, damn, Rolly kind of, even though he lost that fight, I'm like, he was really running it with Tank. That it looked like that, at least, right? But after that fight, from Barroso, from Old Man Barroso, to Isak Cruz, even in his last fight he had against Jaime, I can't remember what his last name is, Ramos or something, or Jaime. What's his last? Jesus. What's his name?
Jesus Ramos. Ramos. Hold on. Who?
Who's the guy? He's about to fight Abdullah Mason.
Yeah. Romero. Jaime Ramirez. Romero.
I'm about to tell you right now.
He's Romero. I don't know his name. Listen, just say the double clone, Rolly clone. We know who we talking about.
Abdullah Mason. Hold on, let's see, because I know Abdullah's fighting him next, so let's just do it like that. We'll get his name right now. Oh, Manuel Jaime. That's his name. And he didn't even look that spectacular against him. You know what I'm saying? But he's in the conversation right now to fight against Abdullah Mason. But Rolly Romero now in the conversation to fight Ryan Garcia in Madison Square Garden or in Times Square, I think is what I'm hearing. What do you think about that fight?
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I think both of these guys are past boxing. I think they're more of the entertainment side of boxing. I think they're just there for paychecks, Ryan and both Rolly. Ryan, I think, will use boxing to move himself in a space better, whereas Rolly is just like, look, man, I think he's done. I think he's been done with boxing since the Tank fight. I think, you know what I mean, he tried to capitalize off it. He got his little title. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's always all there. I mean, I speculate that there's something wrong with him, you know what I mean, but that's outside of boxing. I don't want to go too far. But it just doesn't seem like he's been always game. You know what I mean? If he could take this seriously, this fight, and he goes in there, I mean, he definitely can prove himself to the world. You know what I mean? And conquer feats that other people have not conquered yet and defeat Ryan Garcia besides Tank Davis. So could be a good show.
Cool. You want to show me where the demand is for Haney versus Romero? Hang around, Bub Boxing. We'll talk about it. I don't think it's going to end the way you want to end it. I think you kind of want to do some exposing. I think you're going to run yourself in circles trying to do that. But we're going to talk about all that. You know, we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? We'll see.
Super chat.
Salute the Boxing Hacker in the building, man. Shout out to a Boxing Hacker putting some color in the chat. Guys, don't forget to try to put some color in the chat. Let's support the channel. Ryan Garcia. Let's see what it says here. Bring it up on the screen. Ryan Garcia was labeled a four king because he came up with the idea of them being the four kings at the end of the Luke Campbell fight. He picked the fourth. LOL. You're right, though. I remember that. I remember him saying that, right? I remember him saying that. He's right about that. Definitely right about that.
Ryan, right?
Yeah.
Crying Ryan, Lion Ryan, the Lion King.
I'm into this fight right here. Ryan versus Rolly Romero. I'm into it.
I'm with you.
I'm into the fight because it's a building block, right? I see Bub speaking towards Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez and things like that. And what is that the fight that people want? I think that Turki Al-Sheikh is taking into consideration tune-ups right now, right? He's understanding the value of that and building up the fights. He wants to see Ryan Garcia show the world the kind of fighter that he is coming off of a PED situation where he got suspended. He wants to see him without the antics. Build up yourself as a respected boxer. He wants Haney to go ahead and get an opportunity to show the world that he's back by giving him a decent little opponent, but at the same time, not putting him directly back in the ring against a Ryan Garcia or against a Teofimo Lopez or anything like that. Let's build him up. Let's do it with a tune-up. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think the difference in the reason why you got to give Turki Al-Sheikh his respect is because he makes sure that he lets you know what the bigger picture is. He's not just making fights just to make fights. He's letting you know. He's planning ahead. He's saying in October, we're looking to put Ryan in there with Devin. We're looking to put Tio in there with the winner of them. He's letting you know what he's doing. So ultimately, these are all stepping stones in the directions of the fights that the fans want to see, of the biggest fights he can make. So that's the difference, Bob. It's not about micromanaging and dissecting every move he makes and trying to be like, see, it's not a C moment. This is a process, but he's making it clear and speaking to the whole entire boxing space and letting you know that he is on the journey of making the biggest fights, even by involving Jerron Boots Ennis in the conversation of fighting against Teofimo Lopez and things of that nature. He is making the biggest fight. Not every single fight he's going to give you is going to be the biggest fight, but he's letting you know what the bigger picture is. So I think that's valuable. You know what I'm saying? I think that holds weight, man. I don't think there's nothing to bat your eye at. You know what I'm saying?
And I can just lay this down right now. Turkey never put nobody in the ring that wouldn't make a competitive fight. So you've seen multiple people that he wanted to make matchups with, like you said, Clay, for the next fight, as he sees the silver lining and things. And some of them fighters lose, and they don't even make it to the next point. You know what I mean? Like, how many times has he tried to rematch get that Wilder fight with AJ, and it just kept going downhill? How many times has he tried to get AJ and Tyson Fury and other fighters? Who else lost recently? It was somebody he had on the card. He didn't expect him to lose. He expected him to win so he can have a better competition, better fight for them. He's always put combatants to the ring and put them on collision courses. And I think that's what's good about Turkey, man. Like, he has foresight, and that helps in boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Bub says, so I'm hating for asking to see the evidence that the people wanted Haney versus Ramirez. How do you hate for asking to see proof? I didn't say you were hating. Wait, hold on.
It's a tune-up fight. Who cares if people want to see it? It's a good fight. I would like to see it. I think it's a good fight. You have an ex-champion who only had one loss. He has 2 losses now, but he only had 1 loss on his resume before that second loss. And that fight I thought was really close. I thought they gave that squeezed that away to that Oscar fighter. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it was a close fight. That's not a bad pick at all. You know what I mean? And they're both moving up a little bit, so it's gonna be a little bit more closer to 147. Not me, Clay, the chat.
Okay. No doubt. Yeah. I'm about to say, Bob, I ain't calling you no hater, bro. Of course you get to, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? We gotta speak truth to power, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with asking. Okay, so it wasn't me then. Okay, I was just making sure. Like, I'm not gonna hate on you for that, bro. You know, I don't give a damn. Spit your truth, man. But but either way, listen, man. I'm okay with the fights, man. I wanted Devin. I'm gonna tell you some important things that I saw that I wanted to make sure was part of it. And people, you know, even you at one point, Ray, was kind of like campaigning for him to continue to campaign at 140, and he still might do that, right? But I definitely wanted to see Devin Haney go up in weight. I did feel like the weight cuts were a little extreme. I thought the weight cut played a difference in him against Ryan Garcia. Didn't like the way he looked at the weigh-ins. I wanted to see him go up. So I'm hearing this fight is going to happen either at 147 or a catch weight of like 143, 144. But ultimately, I think Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia are going to meet up, and the trains are going to collide with each other at 147 pounds when it's all said and done, which is a good thing. I think Devin needs to embrace the fact that, you know, he doesn't have to be a weight bully. And I know people might jump at me like, well, he is a weight bully. But listen, man, at the end of the day, all fighters are trying to get their leverage. They're trying to get the edge. They're trying to get that little extra against any fighter. And most of these guys, I think it was Roscott who said, anybody who's not a heavyweight is a weight bully. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, most people are making weights for a reason. They're walking around way bigger. You know what I'm saying? They're doing things in their regular life. You look at Jalil Hackett. You look at even Jerome Boots Ennis right now. We're trying to get him to go to 154. He's cutting that weight to be at 147. Jalil trying to stay at 147. Devin was at 135 at one point, obviously, at 140. And, you know, they're all trying to get that little edge. I did think it was time that Devin took a real hard look at, you know, going up in weight. So I'm happy to see him doing that. And I think you don't do that overnight. You don't just get up and do a fight at 147. I think he's doing it the right way. You get a Jose Ramirez, a champion, I believe he was at 140. No, was it at 130?
140. Unified champion.
At 140, that's right, exactly. Was it at 140?
Yeah.
It was 140, right?
Yeah, took the belts from him.
Was it?
Yep, Josh Taylor took the title. Yes,
okay,
sir.
It wasn't 135, it was 140. Okay, cool.
That's how Josh Taylor became undisputed. He took the belts from him.
Okay, exactly. Josh put it on him. So, you know, this is a champion, not a current champion, but was a champion, and it's a good fight for Devin Haney to you know, fight somebody who's dangerous, but at the same exact time, he don't got to go in there with the Terminator. You know what I'm saying? For his first fight back. It's all good. Y'all want to hear something funny? Drum roll, Rolly Romero. Yeah, I think that fight with Devin and him is a good fight. But I like this fight right here with Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero, man. I do like the fight. I think Ryan Garcia needs to tune up as well. I want to see him be serious. I like it. Now, let me ask you a question, though, Ray. What's up with Isak? Why isn't Isak, in your opinion, in this conversation anymore? He was locked in before, but now he's decided to pull out of this the same way he pulled out of the rematch with Ryo, but he's pulling out of this. What do you feel about this?
So rumors have it that Isak was also saying that Ryan cheated and he wanted clean testing. He wanted Ryan to test, and Ryan refused to test for him with VADA, because I think Isak also uses VADA as a testing source, and Ryan refused. So Isak was like, if you're not going to test with VADA, then we're not boxing. So I guess he pulled out. My hints, my spider senses are telling me that PBC might be saving Pitbull for something else. If they get past the Tank fight, because I don't see them making a fight past May, especially with Canelo not being there.
Right.
Who else do they have to fight in May? And rumors have it on that end. We'll talk about that later. But so I think that's what I just think it might be the VADA thing. That's what I heard.
I didn't hear anything, to be honest with you, but I'll tell you this: I did question the quick turnaround. I felt like Isak's getting ready to fight on this Tank card. No, it's a Tank, sorry, on this David Morrell card on February 1st. They're talking about doing this in March, at the end of March. It didn't make sense for me for Isak to be in that conversation. A. B, I heard the fight was going to end up being either a catchweight or even at 147. I was hearing rumors against Ryan Garcia, which I just feel like at some point Isak has to be like, okay, all right, bro, look, you know what I mean? I know I'm the pit bull, and I know you guys think, you know what I mean, I got smoke for everybody, but there is a limit to everything, and he does have his own career to think about. If he wasn't going to take the rematch with Raul Venezuela to get an opportunity back at his title that he lost against Rayo, why are you going to go up to 147 and fight Ryan Garcia? To me, it would have been a clear, transparent money grab, and I think, money is always important, but at the same exact time, your career also, you also need to protect your career. If it wasn't Isak, I would have to say it was the people around Isak who have vested interest in his career being where it needs to be. It didn't make sense for me for him to be in the ring with Ryan Garcia with that quick turnaround, with the weight. He's fighting at 140 against Angel Fierro on February 1st, and then for him to go up, a month and a half to 2 months later, jump right back into a camp. He doesn't even know how this fight's going to end up. On top of that, with Angel Fierro, I'm sure he's anticipating a win, just like most people are, but you never know how it is. And, Turkey's bringing this whole thing now with fighters planning fights ahead, you know what I'm saying, of fights, like assuming they're going to win, which I'm interested in your opinion on that as well. What do you think about that? Like Turkey did the same thing with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, right? He was like, oh, after Deontay beats Zhale Zhang, we're going to put him in the ring with Anthony Joshua. We saw how that fight ended up going, but I mean, is it even, are you with this whole entire planning ahead and making these fights all at a time?
I mean, it's likely to backfire, but then again, he's playing the odds. He's playing what most people will play in Vegas, right? When they watch two sports teams go at it and they want to see the two best go at it, there's always somebody that can knock off the best team. It's the same thing here. They're boxers. They all are professionals. They get in the ring. They exchange punches, and anything can happen. You know what I mean? In that square circle. So I think Turkey is definitely optimistic, which I have no problem with. But I mean, I think you should let things happen before you start announcing it. I mean, you can put it on your foreground, and if that's the case and that's what you want, then just let it happen anyway. You know what I mean, when he lost to Joseph Parker Wilder, right? He was supposed to get AJ in that fight, and he didn't get AJ in that fight, so they kind of pushed it back. They should just let them fight the next round. You know what I mean? Instead of the Ngannou, right? That was the next fight.
Yeah, AJ ended up fighting Ngannou, yeah. Right.
So instead of that happening, he gave him Zhale Zhang and was like, oh, this is a good fight for you. Somebody you can knock out. He comes forward. What do we see about people that come forward and people think they can knock him out? Ask T.O., ask AJ. I'm just sorry, J.A., Jared Anderson. Those things don't work out as well, right? Especially when you got punchers and people that can absorb punches. So sometimes you got to just play your cards when they're there. You're going to get the payday no matter what. So it is what it is.
Yeah. I think it's interesting for him to do that. I saw, I think Secret Dance Move said, where is it at? He said he liked it, right? Yeah. Basically saying that, here it is right here. Right. He said, I like the planning ahead. We boxing fans know what to look forward to. I like it too. I ain't gonna lie, Secret Dance Move, but I do think it can blow up in your face. The naysayers and the detractors will get opportunities to kind of shoot at you if it doesn't work out the way you say it's gonna work out. But I do think the fans kind of enjoy understanding the ramifications of a fight, right? And the fighters may also give them some vested interest as well, letting them know, not only to them privately in the locker room, but letting the fans know, like, if he wins this fight, here's the next fight that we want to have for him. You know what I mean? It just kind of builds up a little bit of momentum into the next event, into the next event, into the next event. But it is interesting because it's like, and I think on this case scenario, Isak kind of had to like chill a little bit and keep it honest and be like, listen, man, I'm fighting in February, bro. And until I'm doing that fight, I don't know what I'm doing. And this is supposedly an event that you're putting out in March. You know what I'm saying? In March, at the end of March. Come on, bro. 2 months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 1 month.
Yeah, like a month and a half, right? Like, right. So, yeah, it made sense to me that he pulled out of it. To be honest with you, I wasn't that confident that the fight was going to happen at all. Me personally, I didn't even think the fight was going to happen. It didn't make sense to me when the fight got called. Blue said that, you know, people on the inside were telling him that it was going to be Isak. I guess they were aiming for Isak, but it just didn't make sense for the turnaround to be that way. I thought it was more than likely going to be I thought there was a good chance it was going to be Tio for a little bit there, just because the way Tio was kind of like commenting on it. But then again, you know, we see what's going on with Tio. I think Rolly Romero is a great fight for Ryan Garcia, man. Let's let it happen, man. Let's bring it full circle.
I believe Tio was in the picture, and I think the issue was Bob Arum. Bob Arum's like, look, you're not going to run my name in the mud, and you still under contract with me, and you think you're going to go put on this fight. So I think he's kind of trying to learn. He's trying to push the narrative of himself being the best, but then he got to understand his place. You know what I mean? And what his contractual agreements. As far as what you said, yeah, I agree. I mean, look at the. This is the second time that Turkies did this, right? Didn't he just do this with Majimov? You know what I mean? He had him on the Tyson Fury Usyk card, right? And then he automatically threw him in the next card in February.
And then Majimov caught the flu or pneumonia, you know what I'm saying, and got about that situation.
You can't do this. This is too quick. You know what I mean? We surgery Bachroom, and then you got to go to Virgil Ortiz. Okay, we're gonna have to slow down. We're gonna move somebody else there. Right. Absolutely. So sometimes you gotta, you know what I mean, you feel these things as a what do you call them? A VIP planner, right? So he feels what's going to make money or what's going to do well and what people want to see. But then I think he gets to the point where he's like, hold on, I just put this guy in two different spots. So I get it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm all for it, man. So let's see what happens. Let's see what Isak does. Rumors going around that maybe Isak might be on the list to fight Tank Davis afterwards. So maybe he's trying to keep himself clear for the March 1st date of Tank and Lamont. Maybe he might be in that conversation if he can do well against Angel Fierro. People are all trying to figure out, you know, like I said earlier before, not maybe on this show, but on plenty of other shows. I think the biggest thing I'm anticipating on that March 1st fight with Tank and Lamont Roach is the announcement, right? I'm waiting for right after the fight to find out who he is going to fight that I might want to see him fight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we'll see who he picks and everything like that. But I think Isak, just at the end of the day, just moving up in weight, small turnaround, you know what I'm saying, and also having a fight that he already has to fight on February 1st, just didn't need to get involved in that in that type of situation. It is what it is. But we kind of already spoke about Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez as a tune-up. You pretty much shared already, you know, shout out to the community that's not going to allow us to gradually move through the topics. They're going to jump right into it. But yeah, Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. You see what it says on the screen. A tune-up. Is this a tune-up in your opinion for Devin Haney?
Not really. I mean, it's a highly competitive fight. I mean, people are not going to recognize it because 140 at the time was not really a big division when Jose Ramirez was a champion. I mean, it was what it was. You remember you got post Bud, post Mikey Garcia, post Danny Garcia, you know, all those guys moving up. So, you know, I mean, it was kind of like left to Regis Prograde, Jose Ramirez, and Josh Taylor. At the time. So when it was left in their hands, you didn't get those fights that everybody expected. So now, you know what I mean, with years going by, these guys moving up in weight, now you have a solid division. Now I think that we have a better opportunity for some great fights. And I think Jose Ramirez with Devin Haney is an excellent fight. You're getting how I say this, you're getting a really promised boxer, a promised opponent that's going to stand in front of Devin. He knows how to counter. He's got a powerful punch. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a nice little shot. And I think he's even a little bigger. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so we'll have to see how that works out. You know what I mean? Devin might be more fleet of foot, but you know what I mean? It's boxing.
Yeah, definitely a champion pedigree fighter. I mean, he is coming off of not two losses, but I'll say the loss against Arnold Barboza, but the fight he had before that, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember who it was. People thought he pretty much lost that fight, but he did. He got the head nod by the judges. But he's definitely been showing that, in my opinion, that he's on a decline. this fight is a big opportunity for him. I think he's going in there with Robert Garcia as his trainer, right? Robert Garcia is his trainer, I think. So yeah, I think it's a good fight, man. I think it's a good fight. I think it's going to deliver. I think Jose Ramirez is going to push the pace. He's not going to allow Devin Haney to just sit there and just relax and do whatever he feels like doing. And I think we want to see him challenge. So let's see what comes full circle. Salute to Just Do, my
Marlo Green in the building. Camp Ross in the building. Miss Rain in the building. Salute.
Salute. Yeah, man. I think it's a good fight, man. I think there's stepping stones that need to be had out here. You know, unlike Errol, and we'll talk about Errol a little bit later as well. Mr. No Tune-Ups. Tune-ups serve a purpose, man. And this is somewhat of a tune-up, but at the same time, not a tune-up. And I think that makes a big difference as far as Devin Haney's development is concerned, right? His development, he should be challenging himself. So this will be a decent little challenge for him to be coming back from, and also going up in weight. I'm going to be excited to see this situation turn out and see if Devin Haney is back, or did that Ryan Garcia really mentally just hurt him, maimed this dude, right?
Right. So I think this is more of a dangerous fight than and I don't want to say it because it was actually talked about in the chat, but I think this is more of a dangerous fight than the tune-up Tank took for Ryan Garcia with Hector Garcia, Luis Garcia. I think that fight was not as big of a tune-up, like a challenge for
Hector
Tank.
Garcia?
Yeah, Hector Luis Garcia. I think this is a bigger step-up fight for Devin, and much more of a test instead of a tune-up for Devin, especially if he's going to be moving up. This actually has a lot of opportunity for upset and things not to go Devin's way. So more so than Hector did with Tank.
Right.
You need to bring those guys up. I was trying to look up something recently that was a tune-up fight.
Right.
That came up.
No doubt. So moving the needle and continue moving into the heavyweight division. That's going to be the third part of this triple header, which is Martin Bakole versus Efe Ajagba. And this will be March 29th. And I remember this. I'm saying the date out loud, and as I'm saying the date out loud, Ray, it's hitting me in my head like where it's like, hold on, this was supposed to be on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez versus whoever, William Skull or whatever, right? Am I correct? Or
yep.
So what happened? That changed up as well. What does that mean? What's going on with that?
I think for Canelo Alvarez card is going to be really good. I think that might even be part of that. It can't be 5 for 5, but it could headline the 5 for 5. It could be anything going that way. We don't know. You know what I mean? So you're just trying to build the event up, right? So why not? You taking different points of moving that fight differently. You can start putting different fighters together. You have more fighters coming off a different situation. You might even have Shakur back in the mix with Williams and Peta. That's something that you can put on that card so that a headline and is not overshadowed by a heavyweight fight like this. You might even have Usyk Dubois that may show up in that lane of Canelo. So it's so many things that can just pop up. Benavidez Morel versus Bivol Berteviev winner. Like, so many fights are popping up around that time. Why not take the opportunity to put these guys on now while we're making space between these other fighters? And then these guys, whoever winners of these guys is, they'll get down with somebody over in June or July, which moves the needle. So it all makes sense.
Right. No, perfect. That makes sense. That does make sense. But I'm liking this Martin Bakole Efe Ajagba fight. I ain't gonna lie, man. I think it's a great fight for Martin Bakole to jump into, coming off the back of a dominating performance with Jared Anderson. Turkey's going to try to get him busy in there. He's also bringing in Efe Ajagba, introducing the whole world to him as one of the big heavyweight contenders that's in the game. Efe's always been there, obviously, but you're seeing this international thing happening with boxing right now, where a lot of fight fans and boxing fans in America aren't familiar with all these fighters, right? Like Mark Bakole was completely like, people were oblivious to who he was. That's why people just jumped on Jared Anderson, like, oh yeah, he should just run through this guy. Never heard of this guy, and turned out to potentially be the 2025 George Foreman, right? And Efe Ajagba as well, a very powerful fighter. I like this fight. Where do you see this fight going? I mean, are you just leaning towards Martin Bakole on this fight? Okay.
No. I think it's, I don't think it's 50-50, but it's definitely close enough. This is you have a guy in Ajagba who has a strong hook, a very good jab, and decent footwork. You know what I mean?
He's athletic for sure.
He's definitely not going to stand there and be hit. Yeah, I don't think he does what AJ does. I think he watches that very carefully. He probably watches a lot of McCauley, but McCauley's straightforward, man. And I think he's going to try to stay out of harm's way and try to outbox McCauley. He can do it. I think you still need to invest into that body, right? And once you invest into that body, you can take McCauley down easier. But I don't know if he has the mass to do it. Yeah, he's a rippled young man that boxes. You know what I mean? It's not about how much weight you can lift and how much definition you have. It's about how you fight. I think McCauley still wins this fight. I just think it's closer than what we think it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a real competitive fight. Obviously, McCauley, we know what he brings to the table, and FA as well. He's athletic, and he's not just going to stand there, but he also has some power in his punches as well. But we saw McCauley absorb a lot of punishment against Jared Anderson. Jared was able to do a lot of work inside those first 2 to 4 rounds. He was connecting with a lot of big shots, but ultimately, what did we see? We saw Martin McCauley was able to weather that storm, and ultimately, that relentless pressure coming forward, staying behind that jab, important for somebody with the attributes he brings to the table. How tall he is, how long his arms are. He stays behind that jab, man, and he's pretty devastating once he starts, compounding those into like combination shots. We saw what that turned out to be for Jared Anderson. So I'm interested in seeing this fight. I think that makes this triple header card, and whatever the buildup fights are going to be towards the main card on this one's going to be huge. What do you think about Turki making this happen in Times Square, though, man, and just making his presence felt in America?
What other place to do it, bro? What other place? You hit the other coast, now you're hitting this coast. I want to see how they're going to have the press conference. You know what I mean? When they had the cars come out in Cali, what are you going to do in Times Square? What are you going to do over there on 42nd Street? You know what I mean? Right. Over there. What's going to pop off? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Broadway 42nd, y'all, in case y'all don't know what it is. Yo, I want to see how it's going to go. Maybe they do something down towards Rockefeller. Maybe they do something down near the World Trade. Who knows? I don't know, but New York's a big place, and there's a lot of opportunity to make this event pop off and give it exactly what it needs to be. They can even come down to Jersey, to Giant Stadium. There's so many spots you can do the entertainment for this fight, press conference and everything. But yeah, man, absolutely, it's gonna be dope. At the end of the day, it's gonna be dope.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a big deal, man. Especially with Turki, with a budget like that. I could just see the technology that he's going to have access to use to just make Times Square just lit. I could just see, can you just imagine Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Martin McCauley, all their pictures right over there on the big Tron, making Tron Times Square.
It's billboards. Right down the street. You have your whole, right. You have all your play bills right down the street there, right down the street, right in front. You got all those billboards as well, bro. They're going to take that whole spot up. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, man. And I could just imagine what the trailer is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? You know how Turki does, man. He goes all out. He spares no expense. You know what I'm saying? And and at the end of the day, I'm expecting something huge to come out of this. And I think this is going to push everybody's brand involved in this that much further, man. He's taking advantage of everything, clearly. You know what I mean? So moving forward, we got a big fight coming up this weekend, guys. You know what it is, Diego Pacheco versus Steve Nelson. That card is going to go off. We got some great fights on the undercard of that one. Diego Pacheco, another litmus test, another opportunity for him to show who he's going to be at 168. Canelo Alvarez, obviously the big sweepstakes. Everybody wants to get a chance at getting at Canelo Alvarez and getting their biggest payday. But Diego Pacheco, a matchroom fighter under Eddie Hearn, getting an opportunity to show out against Steve Nelson, a product of the Bomac team. Terrence Crawford, when you think of Steve Nelson, think about all those guys, right? Steve Nelson kind of been late in the game, but at the same time, been there for a long time. I think he went pro like 2016 or something in that nature.
Right.
I think that's what
relaxed on his career and then came back, made an effort again.
Right. So what do you think about this fight, man? We're going into it. What are you expecting here, man?
Expecting Steve Nelson to win, man. It's actually crazy that I say that because I think Pacheco actually has what it takes to beat Steve Nelson. I just don't think he's getting the right training. I don't think the development is going to be there, being that they have a fight a week apart with the same trainer. Even though they gave him another trainer what happens when your head trainer's in the ring with you and he's giving you the cadence? Are you going to be able to accept that cadence? You know what I mean? Are you going to be able to work with those things? Are you going to trust what he's seeing? You know what I mean? He's been working with his son the whole time instead of working with you and just giving you a game plan. That's going to be tough. I think that Steve Nelson is a very elusive fighter, and I think he also has a great counter. So, I mean, anything can happen. It's definitely 50-50, but I just see it more so for Nelson to pull up the upset in this fight.
Yeah. Great fight, man. Diego Pacheco in his last fight against Sulecki. What's his first name again? Who did he fight against? Was Maciej Sulecki. Great fight, Eastern European fighter from Poland. And Diego really showed his IQ a little bit in that fight. Showed his ability, his shot placement, and his ability to set shots up in multiple shots. Obviously, also using his natural attributes. He's tall, he has long arms, things of that nature. Sparring with the likes of David Benavidez, he has good work coming out of his camp as well. I think having David Benavidez as somebody to spar against is a big deal for somebody like Diego Pacheco, being how young he is and being, like I said, he comes with that 79-inch, 80-inch arm reach, whatever it is. 6'4". This kid is young. He's looking to do big things, and obviously as an undefeated fighter, trying to get in those conversations of the Edgar Berlangas and the Caleb Plants, and yes, of course, the Canelo Alvarez's. He's going to bring his A game, but he's got a real test in front of him. Steve Nelson is really a old horse, you know what I'm saying? With he kind of like been there before, even though he hasn't been there because he started his career a little late as well. I think Steve is like 36 years old right now, but starting late, still started boxing at 21 years old. He's one of those guys. So he brings that unorthodox kind of approach a little bit to the space. I always call him the shot selector. He's really good at selecting his shots. He's really good. He has real good footwork. He's always where he's supposed to be. Like if you really pay attention to the way he fights, he's always right where he's supposed to be. And I think it's going to be interesting to see Diego, in my opinion, get into some cerebral warfare with Steve Nelson, because I think that's what it's going to end up becoming. It's going to become very cerebral because Steve Nelson is a thinking guy. He's a thinking guy. But Diego Pacheco showed that he can be a thinking guy in his last fight against Maciej Sulecki. He was a thinking man in that fight because Sulecki had that tight defense. He brought that Eastern European fundamentally sound boxing, and Diego had to dissect that dude, break him down to put him in that situation where he stopped him with a knockout of the year candidate, in my opinion, when he hit him with that body shot. That was that was a beautiful shot to the liver and just completely debilitated that guy and stopped him. So what are you saying? Were you about to say something?
I will say when we drop the link, I want to hear Teacher's take on this. I'm not against what Teacher's saying. Like I said, I think it can go either way. But I definitely want to hear his take and his outlook on how this fight's going to go, because he obviously knows something that I don't. And Teacher's he's very knowledgeable when it comes to the boxing in the ring stuff. So I mean, I respect his visions and things like that. I want to hear his outtakes.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. So Cold is not on Pacheco's level. I think that's the thing that Steve Nelson brings to the table. I think So Cold brings that to the table, that fact that people think he's not where he needs to be. And I think people sleeping on his pedigree. I think he hasn't had a real opportunity to show the world how bad it can get and how dark it can get with him. He's undefeated as well, right? Undefeated, decent knockout ratio. He knows what he's doing in that ring, and he's in there with the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world on a regular basis, and Terrence Crawford. He's got Bomac in there, going over strategies with him. I think this fight is going to be interesting. And I hear what you're saying, Teach. Oh, he said I'm at work though. I hear what you're saying, Teach. But at the end of the day, I think Steve Nelson brings a lot more to the table. I think for anybody to see him and say that he's not on that level, that's his edge he brings to the table. That's what he brings to the table, is that you guys haven't seen him really show out. And I think he's going to try his best. I think he probably is going to show out on Saturday night. Will he win? I'm still leaning with the youth. I'm going with Diego. I think it's his time. But Steve Nelson is there to derail the young bull. Believe that.
I'm just looking back to fights, the last two fights prior to the one that Diego Pacheco just fought. Those were tough fights for him. He was getting clipped. He didn't look comfortable in the ring. And I can see this being the same situation. So I mean, now you got a fighter that's actually up to par. You got a fighter that's actually a contender. You know what I mean? You're not getting these like young prospects or these guys that are just floating around and just throwing in the ring with you. So this is going to be a real tough one at the end of the day. So I like to see how he does in this fight. I mean, each your own.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt, man. It's gonna be an interesting fight, man. It's a good fight, man. Real good fight. What do you think about the Andy Cruz Omar Salcido fight?
Andy gonna knock this guy out, bro.
I don't know, man. Omar Salcido is a beast, bro.
Right, I knew that. Right, I do know that.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's a great step up fight for Andy Cruz, but I think Andy Cruz has something to prove. I think he's going to try to not weather the storm like he did with Antonio Moran. I think he's going to go in there and take care of business. I think he's got something clicked in that fight with Antonio Moran. I think he had to get off his game plan. He had to move a different way, and he had to go out there and step on the gas, knock this guy out. And I think he likes he likes that reaction. He likes that feeling. I think he's going to go out there. He wants the big fights. He wants to move up the championship contention right away. So I think he wants to make a point. He's going to make a point in this fight right here.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on this level and say that that's what he's supposed to want to do. And that's what he kind of needs to do because he is in the conversation of Keyshawn Davis, who's one of the faces of the 135-pound division right now. So he needs to capitalize off this opportunity to continue to move up the ladder. It's like he has a kind of a spot waiting for him up there, as long as he can deliver on these fights that are in front of him. But God, Omar Salcido put on a performance against Chris Colbert on that Pro Box card a few months back. I mean, stopped Chris Colbert, right? Was really ultimately fighting against it. I mean, Chris Colbert is not that much of an accomplishment, I guess. Just watching the trajectory he was going, we won't say how much you kept including him in the Tank Davis sweepstake conversation, but at the end of the day, he showed that he can deal with a slick fighter, a slick boxer, somebody who quote unquote could be elusive or that nature.
Who was overweight and just backed up.
Right.
That was supposed to be Tank fight anyway, but it's okay. We're gonna move forward. We might get that fight next for Tank. They're running out of fighters over there.
Listen, man. It's gonna be a 10-round fight for Andy Cruz. It's gonna be a 10 rounds. Is this gonna be a second 10-round fight for Andy?
Yeah. Third.
Andy's been fighting 10-round fights pretty much from the beginning. That's his whole the whole time he's been doing 10-round fights.
Been a prospect, but I thought this was his third. I thought he started with 2 8s and then went 10-10-10. But
no, it's been 10 straight through. So it's gonna be a 10-round fight with Omar. Omar got some heavy hands, 70% knockout ratio, 20 wins, 14 knockouts. He brings that to the table. Andy Cruz obviously still on a prospect level as far as what his record says, but we know better as far as his pedigree. This is an opportunity for him to show out. This is Eddie Hearn doing some serious matchmaking here. Eddie Hearn, as of last year, has been very aggressive with his fighters. He's been putting them in dangerous spots. He's been putting them against the best and trying to get them to be tried true so that he can get them to the big fights. People have criticized Eddie Hearn's approach to his matchmaking last year, being that a lot of his fighters took some losses. I wonder if this is going to be it. Bozy Ennis obviously is going to be in the conversation when you're talking about Andy Cruz and what he's been able to do with his fighters. In the beginning of last year, I kind of had Bozy there as a trainer of the year potential. But I ain't gonna lie. As the year went on, I saw Stephen Fulton kind of get hit with a bunch of shots. Obviously, we saw what happened between Boots and Karen, even though these are all on the back ends of victories. Not like these guys took losses, but these guys got hit a lot. We even seen Andy Cruz in his last fight against Antonio Moran, get clipped and get put on Bambi legs. Are you expecting Andy Cruz to kind of pull back and jump back into his boxing a little bit more on this one, or do you expect him to continue to move forward with the Bozy plan?
Nope. I think he's going to go in there. He's going to fight his fight. He will listen. Obviously, he'll listen for when the target is, for defensive cues and things of that nature. He'll listen to the things that are important to you. Remember, you're in that ring by yourself. I think last time he felt like he was trying to do what his coach was telling him, and he put him in danger. So I think he's going to box, and I think he's going to look for the openings, and he's going to capitalize. He's going to look for what he sees as a rhythm. And his opponent and himself. And I think he'll communicate that with his team. And I think they'll let him know, hey, the time is now, or, step on the gas, step off the gas, whatever the pressure may be. But I think we get a nice 6th to 8th round knockout, a stoppage rather.
So you really got Andy stopping this dude.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right. I mean, it's going to be a good fight. If he stops him, it's going to be a great fight because I know that Omar's not going to lay down. So Andy's going to have to work for it. And if he stops him, that makes a statement. That's a huge statement right there. If he stops Omar Salcido, he's right up there. He moves up. I don't know how far up he goes up in the sanctioned body rankings. Where is he at right now? Let's look at where he's at right now in the rankings. 1 second here. Let's see. Wait. Where's Andy at? All right, so on the WBO rankings right now, Andy Cruz is sitting at number 15. Right? And that's where obviously where Keyshawn's at right now. He's getting ready to fight Dennis Berinchyk, whereas Keyshawn's at number 1. He's not in the top 15 of the IBF. Oh man, he's number 6 for the WBC.
Well, I thought he was the interim of the IBF. He has the interim title. I thought. I'm sorry, the title eliminator belt. He's like the international title or something like that for IBF, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it says that the IBF interim title is vacant right now. That's what it's saying right here, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
They're fighting for the interim title, I'm saying, but he has the international belt or something like that. He has like
he has some kind of belt. Yeah, yeah, he does.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
He's moving up the ladder, so this fight should put him into that position for the interim. And then I think he's in the WBA conversation. He's definitely in the WBC conversation.
Yeah, he's number 4 in the WBA. He's number 6 in the WBC.
Right.
Oh, he might be number 5 in IBF.
That's what they got him right now. Yeah.
Yeah, IBF. He's number 5. Sorry, he's number 5 in the IBF. You're right. Yeah, he's number 5. He's right behind Raymond Moratala, Keyshawn Davis. He's right there in that conversation for the IBF. He could fight. Yo, listen.
That's why he's a title eliminator, because those two are probably going to fight for the vacant title, and he'll get that next shot if it's available.
That makes sense, bro. That makes sense. You're no lying, and he's high up there on all the sanctioning bodies except for the WBO.
Yep.
On the other sanctioning bodies, he's top 5 in all of them. So this is a big fight for him. This is a big fight for him. Definitely interested in seeing even more now. Now I definitely want to see what ends up happening on the back end of that fight. Keeping my eye on that one for sure. All right, so moving the needle and continuing the conversation because we got other things to get into. Teofimo Lopez ushering a new chapter for his career. What do you think about this new chapter of Teofimo Lopez right now? Coming off the back end of all that controversy, obviously with Bob Arum, and by no means is he done with Bob Arum, but I'd have to say it looks like he's getting some ground under his leg, under his feet right now, and it looks like all that work might be turning into something for him. What do you think?
I mean, sometimes when you start exposing certain things, it does, it's almost like whistleblowing, right? Like he always says how he bought the sponsorship, the Top Rank, and certain things of that nature. Teo has great points. He has great situations where he has proved, to be right. He's a smart guy. We'll never take that away from him. But what I think Teo doesn't understand is there's a way to do it behind the scenes and above and in front of the camera. His thing is he just wants the money. He seems to be money driven for the big fights, but he hasn't did anything according to Bob. Like he hasn't done anything to put himself in that position. He hasn't showcased but one time. They gave him the one showcase. He got a great defense. He almost lost his belt. He should have lost his belt. He didn't. Then he goes to the next fight. Same. And they gave him a guy that's still right in front of him. The guy walked out looking like the picture you got up there. You know what I mean? And situations like that. And that was a guy that he should have knocked out. That guy was there to be knocked out, and he just didn't get the knockout done. Now he's talking about calling out all these bigger fighters. He's talking about calling out Devin Haney. He's talking about calling out Tate Davis. He's calling guys monkeys. He's doing boots, etc. Even Brian Norman, and then he backed out of that fight quickly. Teo he just seems to want attention, and sometimes when these guys want too much attention, there's a cry for help. I mean, he had this mental illness thing. I think the perfect scenario for Teo right now, which I know he's not going to do it because it's somebody that lives rent free in your brain. Cambosa just moved to 140. Rematch that guy. Get that guy an opportunity. Get your win back. You know what I mean? You guys crying about Ryan and Devin getting that fight going again. Cambosa's sitting right there. He's waiting for an opportunity. He believes he can do it again. Why not? It's only something that Teo has to prove to himself at that point. But, who am I?
No, man, I agree with you. Except for the Cambosa situation. Once again, this is one of those scenarios where I've got to I'm gonna go with Teofimo in this one as far as the way he's going right now. Why? Because he does have an opportunity to get into some huge, he has an opportunity to jump into a huge spot right now, and he shouldn't risk it on Kambosos right now. Kambosos is a great tune-up fight of sorts, or if you needed to build your brand up, they'd use Kambosos. But now you got Turki Al-Sheikh who wants to put you in there. You got a unification fight in front of you with Richardson Hitchens. It seems like Richard Hitchinson is very motivated to do that. That's a super winnable fight for Teofimo Lopez. And then after that fight, you're getting promised a winner between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Once they fight, don't risk it fighting Kambosos right now. Maybe after the Hitchinson, after you unify, if you need one more stay busy fight, Kambosos will kind of fit in there, right there, if that makes sense. Because when is this fight supposed to happen with him and Hitchinson?
I thought it was they were talking about April or May.
May, right? I think it was April or May, right? So then, right around that time period, you got to think Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fighting in March, right? Now they'll be getting ready to no, they're not fighting in March. I'm saying they're fighting like they're tune-up.
Right.
In
March. And then they'll be fighting in September or October, something like that.
October, I think, is when it is. So he fights in May. You got June, July, September, October. He could take a fight again in between that. Maybe fight Kambosos around September, October.
Either that or Aparo or what's this other guy's name? Maybe get back in the talk for Matias. You know what I mean? I don't think he wants risk. He doesn't want risky fights. He doesn't want anything dangerous. And I think that's where it bothers me as him as a fighter. I think his mind is, I don't want to get caught with certain shots. Certain fighters I can fight, certain fighters I don't want to get in the ring with. But that'll be a great fight as well. If
you
Ryan,
don't think it's more of a money, you don't think it's more of a money play? I don't think he cares about fighting dangerous fighters. Why would he talk about getting in the ring with Jerome Boots Ennis? Why would he talk about getting
attention, Clay? Some people just bark. They just
that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what the game plan is with Turki. He's gonna fight Hitchinson. The next fight is supposed to be Jerome Boots, Boots versus him, and that's gonna be on the undercard of the Devin Haney Ryan Garcia fight. That's what's going to happen right then and there. Supposedly, if he gets through Hitchinson, as long as Boots, gets his unification situation.
Boots has his own situation going on. Does he even stay at 47 for this fight?
For the money, this is how I see it with Boots. I think for the money at 147, see, once Boots unifies, once he gets that unification, he's done with the IBF rehydration clause. He's comfortable again at 147. That's the thing he doesn't like right now. I think that's pushing him to go up to 154, stay at 147. He'll stay there to go to undisputed, right? So once he beats, arguing that, saying that he will beat Stanionis and becomes a unified champion, there's always the Brian Norman fight there. Brian Norman has made it clear that it's a fight that's going to be there for him. But there's also the money opportunity. I don't think he wants to turn away Turki Al-Sheikh as many times. He's already done it once with the Virgil Ortiz situation. If Turki is talking about putting him against Teofimo, a part of me feels like there's already been kind of a kite and some information communicated to Jerome Boots' team, right? To say, all right, we didn't do that one because you were going after legacy, and as I know Turki Al-Sheikh can respect legacy. He's like, you want to unify? I can respect that. I don't like the way it happened. It kind of had me looking dumb out here, saying that you was going to be on this damn card, and it turns out you was on this card. But I'm going to say I get it. A bad line of communication. But now, even prior to you going into this ring with Stanionis, I'm going to announce that this is a fight that I want to make happen. Is this something you're willing to do? There's money there, and he no longer has to worry about that rehydration clause. I think that fight happens before the Brian Norman fight happens. Brian Norman is supposed to fight in March, right? He's fighting against whoever's
he's supposed to fight in March, yeah.
Right. He's supposed to defend his WBO title in March. So April. No, I think Stanionis, the Teofimo Boots fight is closer to happening than we might want to admit at 147. At 147. That's big money. That's a big money fight. That's an opportunity to be on a very big card. Be on that Devin Haney Ryan Garcia 2 card. That's a huge opportunity that Boots shouldn't walk away from.
Well, I don't think it's so much, and it might even not be so much a boot. I just don't think Teo likes getting in the way of these tournament fights. He doesn't like certain fights. I'm telling you, he avoided the tournament last time to go after a belt another way. He may do the same thing. We have to see how Teofimo is going to move. It's two parties that have different agendas, and yes, the money's there. but are the agendas going to be there for the money? You know what I mean? Where does that lie? That's what it comes down to, Clay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, I mean, I like what Tiafimo's doing right now, man. He's kind of being weird a little bit with some of his antics, but it's all in good fun. Like what I'm seeing him do is like I could crack some jokes and roast him for what he's doing a little bit, but I think it's harmless, and I think it is kind of beneficial to him to start building up a little bit of attention around him and get away from the whole entire the race baiting and all that stuff he was doing. Get away from that, jump into this new humorous side of you that I'm seeing. You know what I mean? He seems like he's happy. He's in a good place. He finally sees something at the end of the rainbow, right? He sees something at the end of the tunnel for himself, and he's motivated. And when we see a motivated Tiafimo, I think we see good things. I think we have some great things that we can look forward. Salute to Ron Frazier in the building.
Ron Frazier in the building. Peace, brother.
Right. I like it, man. I like what I've seen Tiafimo doing. It's coming full circle. Dare I say, you said something a little earlier, and as you said it in my mind, I was like, damn, I got to eat crow. You said he's a smart guy. And I'm being honest with you, I've thrown shots at him. I don't think the dude is that sharp. But I'll tell you what, man, lightning strikes, every now and then. The clocks, a broken clock is right twice a day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Tiafimo messed around, did everything he was doing with all the race bait. None of that stuff worked. But ultimately, this last move, him going out to the UK, linking up with Turki Al-Sheikh, seems like it was a great move. We wondered what he was going to do move-wise because it looked like he burned every damn bridge in the game. Nobody wanted to touch him, but here he is today, and we got to be honest. The guy is looking like he's about to be in a great position. Even pointing fingers at Tank Davis right now, telling Tank, yo, man, you put your pride to the side. You know what I mean? He's basically letting him know, come over on this side, man. Tank on the outside looking in. The more and more Turkey's moving the needle, the more and more these fighters are coming full circle. It does seem like if you're not part of the Turki Al-Sheikh move, you're not on the umbrella. Looks like a lot of fighters are risking getting wet. They are going to get wet if they don't figure out what they're going to do soon, right?
Hey, remember, you got to be in the circle, bro. You're outside that circle.
Yeah. So shout out to Tiafimo Lopez, man. Hoping everything works out the way he wants it to work out. I'm excited for him, man. I'm excited for what Turkey's putting together, and Tio's part of it. We'll see what he does, man. Moving the needle on Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez puts out a statement finally kind of speaking on Terrence Crawford a little bit, but not shining light on the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Ray, basically questioning his resume, saying who has he fought, who has he beat outside of Errol Spence. He's fought nobodies. First of all, what do you think of the statement that Canelo Alvarez said?
I mean, Canelo really say that Terrence fought nobody when Canelo's last couple of fights have been nobodies, even though they were ranked in his division, but he has nobody there. When he ducked certain fighters at 154, when he moved away from certain fighters at 160, can we say he fought anybody in that time frame besides a few fighters that literally almost should have beat him that got robbed, right? In my opinion. Come on, Canelo. You fought Triple G 3 times. The third one was not even necessary at that point. Right. You know what I mean? You escaped a victory with Laura. There's so many opportunities for you to do certain things. You moved up in weight, you beat a champion, you come back down, drop the belt, then you move back up again, right? To fight another champion, and you get shown who you really are. No disrespect to Canelo, he's a great fighter, and he seeks opportunity going up to fight Bivol, right? Why can't Terrence do the same? Terrence has a really good resume. He doesn't have something that stands out, but I think you hit this nail on the head a long time ago when you said, when you looked at the development of Terrence Crawford, a lot of people he fought were European or Eastern European or people from other countries. He fought a lot of international boxers. He didn't fight a lot of guys at 147 that we thought were hot shots. These were really top 10 fighters, top 15 fighters that he fought in the WBO rankings, and he beat them. He knocked almost everybody out. And when Sean Porter came around, he beat him. Kell Brook, he beat him. 2 fighters right there. A fellow fighter, if he fought nobody, I was going to say a fellow fighter, Amir Khan, who Canelo pulled up three weight classes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's not think that Terrence hadn't fought nobody when they fought the same fighter at that point, right? So let's just keep it real. It's just him saying things to kind of fuel the fire to fight, build the fight up. I get it. It's all marketing. Let them two build it up and let them have their way at each other until the fight happens.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. When Canelo said what he said, I thought it was fair play, right? Like fair play. That's what you think. What I saw him do was communicate the fact that Terrence Crawford has never fought a Canelo Alvarez before, which I thought was fair to say. That's what I saw. When I saw it, boxers are going to have their egos involved in the conversation. They're going to say things, and they're going to always kind of like have a narcissist, arrogant approach to the way they see themselves, and just basically approaching a situation with listen, man, there's nothing for me to worry about. That's what I heard Canelo saying. There's nothing for me to worry about. This guy hasn't really fought nobody. I'm not worried about what he's got going on. He's not a big threat to me. I fought the harder opponents, the harder punching opponents. My resume drowns his resume out. But you know what? Terrence Crawford kept it 100, man. He responded. He did respond to the situation. And he basically let it be known, like, listen, one thing I love to do is turn nobodies into somebody. Or what he said, something like that, turn somebodies into nobodies, or something like that. Basically saying that, yeah, it's always interesting once he fights the person, they're a nobody, right? Making somebody's nobodies, right? Just showing every time he fights your favorite fighter, or like when he fought Errol Spence, I guess we'll use that example, that was a somebody supposedly going to be his hardest fight, but in all reality looked like one of the easiest fights that he's had throughout his whole damn career. So, but I'll say like this, with the fight looking like it's on the horizon to be being made, that puts even more pressure on Canelo Alvarez. Because in all reality, according to what Canelo Alvarez is saying, this guy should not be able to compete with him at all. He shouldn't be able to compete with him at all. And if Terrence pulls off this victory, man, it just hurts Canelo even more. I always celebrate Floyd Mayweather for the way he built up the fighters he was going to fight. I always talk about that and say that Floyd Mayweather was notorious for saying, hell of a fighter. Hell of a fighter. No, this guy's a hell of a fighter. Don't discredit him. Don't take shots at his resume. Don't take shots at what he brings to the space, because what does that do to me ultimately when I beat this dude? I think Canelo might have, should have took a page out that book a little bit, even though he did celebrate Terrence Crawford and said, listen, a great fighter, pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the game, but still throwing shots at his resume like that, I don't know if that helps him out in total, in all reality, building up this fight. And when he does get a victory, because that's what he says he's going to do, how does that really help him out?
Right.
Being a fighter who got no resume to fight him.
And I didn't even mention his 140 fights. So that was just 147 I was mentioning. His 140 fights, his resume is crazy.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So, like I said, it is what it is. And you're right. You need to build your opponent up. You need to make people want to buy the fight, want to be at that fight, want to be at the arena. Why sit there and downplay the guy in front of you? You do that face to face. You do that in talks of how you're going to knock him out. You don't do that as he's being some guy that just doesn't deserve to be there. That's what you know what I mean?
Right. I would say also, do you think this is taking shots? Do you think this is like taking shots at the fight where maybe the fight still might not happen, where Canelo's just feeling like this guy doesn't deserve to be in the ring with him, where this fight just doesn't happen?
No, I think if the money's already set and they sat down at the table, they had these conversations over there in England, you know what I mean? I think he sat there and he made that conversation happen. I think Terrence has understood that now. If he's going to do that, he has to take another tune-up fight, right? Rather move up and weigh at 160. That's what the rumors are. And he has to, you know what I mean? Fight, what's it, Sergey, what's the name, right?
Sergachev, right? Sergachev, or the guy who fought Jaime Munguia and also fought Christian and Billy. What's his name?
Yeah.
Sergey.
I got his name here. I know his name.
Up?
Yeah, I know his name. I just can't think of it right now.
Sergey something.
Yeah, one of those names.
If you look on Christian and Billy's box rec, he should pull up his last fight.
But anyway, regardless, you know what I mean? That's a good fight. That guy has not shown to be somebody to walk through or just
Sergey Derevchenko.
Derevchenko. It's actually right there. I just looked it up. I just seen it. He doesn't look like he's a pushover. So if Crawford goes in there and he shows better performances than the last two fighters that he won against, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? You have two natural 168 pounders that literally struggle with this guy in their last two fights.
Right.
So if that is the fight, it's rumored, right? We don't know for sure. It's not set in stone. So if that is a tune-up, and that could possibly be on the Canelo card as well, Clay, in May.
Interesting. And to be honest with you, that's when Terrence is supposed to be back, right? That's what Turkey said, that he was going to be back April, May. So
There you go.
listen, man, it all could definitely go down. Let me ask you this as well, though. Do you think? Let me see here. Hold on a second. What's going on here? All right, no doubt. Just do salute, King. Salute.
Word. Peace, brother.
Do you think that that Terrence Crawford first of all, do you think he's going to do this tune-up against Sergey? You think that's what's going to happen?
I mean, if he doesn't, he needs to go fight for another title at 157. I mean, it's one or the other, or maybe challenge himself for one of the tough 160 champions are tough right now. But he's trying for those guys. Move up and try that. But I think those guys are real tough up there. One of the guys that hold the straps, was it Abel? What's the name? You got Laura, Adam, Adamis. I don't even know. It's Genevieve. Okay, so those are tough guys to fight. So I don't think he should really move up to fight one of those guys. I think he has a harder time fighting one of those guys than he would Dermachenko. So, excuse me. But I think Dermachenko will be a better fight for him. It'd be a good test.
Yeah, I like the fight to a degree because Dermachenko does bring that punching power and he brings that strength. So we'll get to see him kind of be physical. You know, somebody's going to try to physically bully him and see how he deals with it. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to go to the 116 challenge for a title up there against Arizlandi, Lara.
Because he's his route. I'll be honest with you. I don't like Carlos Adames or Genevieve at all.
No, Genevieve, 100% I don't like. Carlos Adames, I think I'd be comfortable with seeing him fight Carlos. And Arizlandi, I think that fight as well, I could see him. Even though that would be a hard fight. Arizlandi's really, but I still think it would be a good fight. But Sergey is a proper test for Canelo Alvarez, or a proper preparation fight to get at Canelo Alvarez. So we'll see how that turns out. Moving forward, I wanted to talk about this guy right here real quick. Errol Spence, man. Errol Spence at this point. What's up with Errol Spence, man? Like, I mean, it's easy for me to say what I want to say, which is the business of boxing isn't favoring this guy right now, right? The actual business of boxing doesn't seem to be making space for Errol Spence. PBC's business model doesn't seem like it has room in there for Errol Spence. And we're going on 18 months, 19 months now since his last fight.
Right.
Is this guy out of here? Is he done? Is Errol done? I mean, what are we talking about with him right now?
I think there's one or two reasons. I think we spoke on it, and shout out to Ross Clark. We'll bring that up in a second. But my suggestion, my thoughts were that he burnt bridges. You know what I mean? He's a champion. He's a guy that's supposed to go out there and prove himself. He took a pay cut, forcing the PBC's hand to embarrassment, to not only just go out there, but to lose. But then as I started thinking, and you mentioned it to me yesterday because I was watching Blood Boxing. Shout out to Blood Boxing.
Shout out to Blood.
And as I'm watching the channel, I'm watching some of your comments come up, and you told me that I missed a comment. You was like, "Yo, you missed a comment." He said, shout out to Ross Clark, because Ross Clark said maybe Earl has something to do with medical. And I started thinking, that makes a lot of sense. He was supposed to rematch Bud, right? Got pushed back. Rematch Bud, got pushed back. Rematch Bud, ended up just canceling the fight. Went a whole year almost, right? Then he's supposed to fight Pandora, push back, Pandora, push back, Pandora, push back. All these opportunities, he keeps getting pushed back. So I said, maybe he just can't get cleared to go back into the ring. If we can't get cleared to go back in there. And, doctors promise you, forecasts. Oh, yeah, you should be ready about this time. So he's making these dates with the PBC, trying to get back in the ring. And they're like, nah, you're not ready yet. You know what I mean? We need to do this. We need to do some more tests. Something ain't right here. Whatever the case may be. So it may be something with the medical that we're not understanding. It could cause him to resign early. But I think he's a true gamer, and I think he wants to stay there and fight it out. And much respect to Earl. I hope he does, and I hope that's not the case. I just hope it's business. And if the business ain't looking good, then he needs a bounce to get up out of there and go, find somebody that's going to put him on at the end of the day.
I think it's definitely the business, and shout out to Ross Clark because he was the one who actually said it. About his medical issues and saying that he thinks that there might be some issues with him getting some clearance and allowing to make these fights happen. But I can tell you this long period of time, it's getting to the point where if he's not going to be able to fight, if it's the business, if it's medical, he might consider retiring at this point. Especially with his no tune-up attitude. The further along this goes, the more of a tune-up I think he needs. Sebastian Fundora is obviously giving up on it, as I'm hearing that supposedly there's supposed to be some negotiations going on between him and Serhii Bohachuk for him to defend his unified titles, both his WBO and his WBC title.
Right.
And Serhii has earned that, man. I mean, he's done the work. He's done the work. That's going to be a good fight if that comes together. But I'm definitely looking at what Errol's got going on and wondering what's going on with him at this point. I mean, I've been thinking about it for a while. At first, I thought it was just the money business. I thought it was just the they weren't getting enough money. The PBC's financial situation was kind of making it impossible for him to agree on making a fight happen. But at the same exact time, there's another part of me that's also saying, is it the medical after Roscott was said? And is the business of boxing not made space for Errol Spence with the PBC at the same time? Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe they both kind of like coexist in the same space. So
I agree.
We'll see how that turns out. Now, moving the needle back to one of our favorite guys, talk about Gervonta Tank Davis, man. You know, recently last week, I saw a video from a content creator basically stating that they had some proof or something in the nature that Gervonta Tank Davis's Amazon deal, $200 million was actually real, and they used some information. That they saw inside of some sort of DJ Academics interview with one of Gervonta Tank Davis's estranged friends or whatever have you. I think it's getting pretty desperate out here for Tank Davis fans. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the Tank Davis fans are kind of like getting kind of desperate. Instead of allowing this thing to just develop into its own situation and, you know, just allowing it to kind of turn out, people are trying to get ahead of it and trying to really gather the morale of the troops to a degree. And now it seems like they're reaching out a little bit. I saw this DJ Academics interview with this guy. I can't remember what his name was, but it was a guy who was pretty much trying to expose Tank, the guy who was doing all who threatened Tank to put him out there on blast. And basically he was stating that he was aware of Tank signing off some sort of Amazon $200 million deal. And I guess they try to use this as evidence. You know, Ray Jackson also posted this up on his Twitter account, trying to use this as evidence that Tank signed up for this $200 million deal. At this point, Ray, was this deal real as far as you're concerned? I mean, just what you can see, was this real? Was this guy about? Is it $200 million or $240 million? The Tank have the biggest deal right now, and he's about to retire. He's threatening to retire with this big deal in front of him for a 7-fight deal.
Right. I mean, with the frustration, the deal may be real. You know what I mean? It may not be the fights that he wanted to get. It may be real where they're controlling the narrative and he just doesn't like it. And he's being put in this place. He's not being allowed to run free like he would have if he was just PBC signed fighter, and not signed to Amazon. Or, which I'm thinking, PBC had a hand in this deal. They took the money and recouped it and used it for a lot of the Canelo activity of last year to pay some of these fighters. And I think that pot has ran dry, and now they're trying to figure out how to get this money back into Tank's pockets. And there's no reason to try to put on fights with Tank. I think it's causing frustration because basically they took a loan from Gervonta Davis. They took money out of his pockets that he signed a deal, and they're not making it right for him. This is me speculating, y'all. This is not verbatim, but I just think that there's some. Yeah, I just want to make sure I say that because I don't want people saying that I'm saying stuff that's not true, or it is true, and I'm putting facts out there. I'm not. I'm just saying these are ifs. But yeah, we don't know really what the case is. And if he did sign that deal and you're retiring, you're not going to get all that money. You're going to get this 1-fight deal. Well, he had 2 fights, so he's getting 2 parts of that check, and it's off to the saddle for him, and he's done. I mean, and the rest of that money just go back to Amazon. And I mean, for the looks of things, they might not even be with these fighters after May. So maybe they're moving like Jake Paul. Maybe they're just going to keep Tank and get rid of the whole, you know what I mean, everybody else. We don't know. I just don't want to see no more of them ballroom looking like you and Dag on back of a store with black. What is it? Remember the auditorium in school and they had the black.
I'm gonna be real with you, man. I don't think the deal was locked down. locked in. I don't know about the loans and everything towards the money that was there. I don't know that Prime was cut that Prime would cut PBC a check that big just for Tank. I am gonna say this though, and look, I don't want no problems with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no smoke with the Tank fans. Don't come. You know what I mean? Don't come to the Addy. Don't meet me at the fighting events. Don't make it all crazy. You know what I'm saying? I know how it is. I know how you guys ride or die for your fighter. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say that there's some desperation in your talk. I'm gonna say that you guys are getting real. It's getting real interesting out here for Tank fans. And it seems like they're having a hard time embracing the actual evolution of boxing. You know what I'm saying? And they're having a hard time, embracing the actual excitement that boxing has going on right now with all what we just talked about, what Turki Al-Sheikh is doing and all these moves at, Top Rank and Golden Boy and everybody who's coming to the zone and even with Queensberry and what that means for boxing. And I think the fanaticism has got these dudes really talking crazy. A lot of credible content creators at one point in time or one time or another are really like putting it on the line for Tank, right? I'm hearing that he's not going to retire now. I'm hearing that he has this $200+ million deal now based off of some DJ Academics interview. The guy was talking about Drake, first of all, and talking about somebody else. This is DJ Academics, not a boxing content creator. He just happened to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis because the relationship this guy had. You guys looked into that and turned it into, aha, there it is. No announcement from Tank. The only announcement that we've heard from Tank is that he's thinking about retiring. Or that he's ain't thinking about it. He said he's going to. He could change his mind, but he didn't say he was thinking about it. He said this is his last year and then he's done, right? And this on the back end of seeing him at the Frank Martin press conference talking about how he locked in a deal that was bigger than Floyd Mayweather's deal that he had with Showtime. I think you guys are getting a little desperate out here, man.
I just thought about something, Clay. Now this might be the nail on the head. This is also speculation, but this might be what's happening. Maybe they did give him the deal. Maybe he did sign that contract, but that contract had to do with the numbers and results of the Frank Martin fight. And being that fight did not go as planned, being that he was this big guy, they're supposed to have this 500, 200,000, 600,000 pay-per-view buys. It didn't happen that way. They said, nope, you didn't, you know what I mean? Just like Oscar did to Dev and Ryan, right? Oh, you didn't make the numbers, bro. Sorry. I wonder if that had a big play in it. That could be the stake. That's probably why the deal didn't go through. But it might have been offered because I was reading online. There's a lot of people that said that offer was, and I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about like sources, journalists saying that the offer was there. It does say offer. It doesn't say signed deal. It says offer. You know what I mean? After he received an offer bigger than by leaving Floyd, blah, 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 6 figures, whatever the case may be. That could be the reason, Clay. I think he was supposed to produce on that Frank Martin card, and it didn't do as well. And guess what? On top of that, Benavidez sold most of that fight. I hate to say it.
I'm hearing things about the Benavidez card as well. I'm hearing that's not doing as well as they necessarily would want it to do. It's gonna look. What I'm hearing is a lot of desperation. I'm hearing a lot of anger, frustration, a lot of nerves. And people are just missing the whole entire boat. I heard a content creator that said there's not much going on in boxing right now, so they just start talking about nonsense. And I think there's like a blockage in their brains. You know what I'm saying about what's going on in boxing. To even say something like that is just like what? Even just going into this weekend with the event going on this weekend with Steve Nelson and Diego Pacheco in that undercard. Even Ernesto Mercado is fighting on that card against Antonio Moran. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some great fights on that card. So for people to feel like there's nothing going on in boxing, you've got February 1st, obviously, right around the corner as well. You've got February 14th around the corner with that crazy Keyshawn Davis card. You got a lot of fighters, Jared Anderson, Abdullah Mason, obviously all his brothers. It's crazy, bro. I don't understand what people are saying, that there's no fights happening. Obviously, the end of the March fight happening with Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, and Martin Bacoli on that card. Then you got going into then you getting ready to go into April, May. You got obviously Canelo Alvarez and whatever his undercard is going to look like. You got the summer coming up, which is going to have a whole bunch of cards, and we're not even talking about what the PBC got planned. March 1st with Tank and Lamont Roach. So I think people are so caught up on this situation that they're splitting. There's like a split in the ocean, where on one side of the ocean you got boxing fans who are walking through like Moses, you know what I'm saying, going to the promised land, you know what I'm saying, of well, the greatest fights are happening. And then you got like Pharaoh, which is the PBC Tank fans that are sitting there trying to chase down these fans, you know what I'm saying, and like kill them. Like, no, you guys aren't going to leave. It's really like an epic movie watching this all come together. And I'm just sitting here like, are you guys going to come? Are you guys going to stay with boxing, or are you guys going to leave with Tank? Are you going to leave with Leonard? When Leonard and Tank leave, are you guys going to leave too? Are these fans going to leave, or are they going to stay around and keep watching boxing?
Right. Not to mention that who's the partner of Turki Al Sheikh's riyadh season?
Who's the partner of Turki Al Sheikh?
Yeah, who did he say his 4 partners were in boxing?
I don't know. Who is it? You gonna say Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, and Oscar De La Hoya?
Well, he said De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, and he did say PBC, right? That was his partners.
Right.
I thought that was hilarious, you know what I mean? But then people were acting like that's something new. This guy's had PBC fighters on his card.
Pedraza. You're right. Mercado's taking on Jose Pedraza. I was wrong. I said Antonio Moran. I don't know why I said that. He's fighting Jose Pedraza. Thank you, Ryan Frazier.
Yeah. Which is crazy, right? But then everyone keeps talking about American boxing. And that's what they're trying to build it upon. American boxing, where American boxing is going to be where it's at. You know what I mean? It's never going to change. That's why we have fighters here. You know what I mean? We, just like anybody else in the world, a lot of these guys come from a humble beginning. So, you know, they're pushing to be stars. They're pushing to be great. And guess what? They want opportunities too. They shouldn't have to travel from where they're from to make fights. You know what I mean? Anyway, kept all his fights over here. He made us go there. Why is it a problem for Turkey to make other fighters go there? You know what I mean? It's crazy work. But I'm gonna tell you how I see it, Clay. A lot of people are salty because they're not getting their way. They're finding themselves to be wrong, and they're looking for different angles to build their stories and make their confidence right. Right. And when they're losing these conversations, they start moving the needle. Where do they go? Now we're on Victor Conti. Now we're on Snack. Now we're on Bobby. Now we're on, I mean, a different story every day. Oh, Tank. We're on Tank's hair. We're on Devin's girlfriend. We're on like anything and everything but boxing. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching it, man. There's a whole lot of crying going on, man. A whole lot of whining going on, man. You know, it's just boxing is moving without them, and it just seems like there's a group of people, in my opinion, that look like they're gonna fade away with Tank. Looks like when Tank retires, they're gonna go with Leonard. They're gonna look for some spots on the bus, and maybe they're gonna go to women's basketball with Leonard. You know what I'm saying, and start fighting for a player or two over there. But it's a problem. It's a problem out here for them. I'm saying for them, it's a problem. You can hear it on a lot of the content that's getting made. You're getting confronted with a lot of Tank Davis fans who want to attack you for anything you say. They're looking for the shot at Tank. You know what I mean? They're looking for the way to bring it full circle back to Tank. Like, yeah, what you trying to say? Tank did this. Why didn't you say this about Tank? Why didn't you say that? And it's just like, what? I don't understand. What are you talking about? We're not even talking about Tank.
And I was building on the channel yesterday, and we got labeled the Devin Haney channel. I said, how are we a Devin Haney channel? We don't even talk about Devin like that. I said, but let me explain. I said, it's because we hold Tank accountable. I said, because a lot of people confuse it too. They think because you hold Tank accountable, which I think we're bigger fans of the Tank fans because we hold them accountable, than the fans that are sitting there making up unrealistic stories and things that are not even true. He goes, no, I understand. No, you're right. You're right about that. I said, but when have we ever defended Devin? I think what we do is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when people are saying narratives or they're pushing stories out about Devin, it's not far-fetched that there's something along the lines with Tank Davis. And it's how they cover it up for Tank, but then they make it a big full-blown story for Devin. I think that's a lot of things we point out. And I said, that's just us holding the fighters accountable. Like, look, if you're going to be a fan for this guy and you want to ignore the fact that this happened to your fighter, that's cool. But it happened to your fighter. And I think responsibility is to say, hey, you know what? It can happen to anybody. But that's how I think of it. I said, I don't think that that's the case, but it is what it is.
No, I agree with you. I don't think it's hate at all. And, you know, it's interesting. That part of the conversation is interesting as well, because, you know, obviously I've had my share of accusations about as far as hating on Tank and not being fair when it comes to Tank. And I think people have a hard time with the fact that Tank is a superstar, man. and that he is a face of boxing in many ways, and that he's the A side to all these conversations, and that when it comes to accountability, you're going to put it on the A side. If he's not making the offers, if he's not putting those things together, then he's going to get the pressure on him to make those things happen. And I think we are putting that good pressure on Tank Davis to hopefully get him to respond to that pressure by making certain fights happen that the fans want to see. It's not being unfair to Tank. You can't treat Tank like you treat Shakur because Tank is a bigger name than Shakur. You can't treat Tank like you treat Teofimo because Teofimo is not as big as name as Tank Davis is. You can't compare Devin Haney to Tank Davis because Tank Davis is the bigger name. He's the one who moves the needle. He's the one who puts quote unquote asses in the seats and all of those other things. And if the offers have to come over from that side, then that's where the pressure is going to go. Is going to be to that side to make those fights
100%.
happen.
100%. Agreed.
So people gonna do what they do, say what they say, but it is getting sad out here in these YouTube streets. The way people are really not, and I'll tell you what they're not doing, Ray. They're not talking about Lamont Roach and Tank Davis fighting each other.
That's
they're
crazy.
not, what I mean, including Tank.
When they do, I heard, well, Lamont Roach is a champion at 130. Of course he is, but what does that got to do? What does that got to do with the person kid trainer? You know what I mean?
The fight. They're not pushing the fight. You don't see a lot of like Lamont Roach fights popping up on YouTube where people are breaking down fights. Like let's see. Everybody knows the fight is not. Everybody knows that Lamont Roach is like a 4-1 underdog.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is or more than that. Isn't he more than that? Isn't he like? Is he like an 8-time an 8-time underdog?
Yeah. It's crazy number.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's like 80. I think it's like 80 to 80. It's just crazy. It's like 80 or something like that. 8-1 something.
It's something like you put up 100. If he wins, you get like $1,800.
I'm saying it's like it's like 8 or something like that.
Right.
It's crazy number. Yeah.
So nobody's delusional about that fight and the competitive nature of that fight not being there. Nobody's delusional about this. And they know it. Even his fans know it. So instead of like talking about that fight and celebrating that fight and pushing that fight, instead you guys are focused and aimed at knocking the people who are being honest about the fight, right? You're attacking it. And even Tank, when he's in the social media, he's not talking about his fight. He's throwing shots at what's going on over there with Turki. He's throwing shots at what's going over there with Terrence or the conversations he's getting into have nothing to do with building up his fight. Or maybe it is because people would take him getting into it with people as him marketing his fight. But if the fight is that great, why wouldn't it's just like good piff. It's like good, you know what I mean? It's like good flowers, good herbs. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to do all that to sell it. You ain't got to add a story to it and give it a crazy name. Nah, bro. When the bag pop open, it's going to tell you to buy it. As soon as the bag pop open, you going to know you need that in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, poof, I want that. You know what I'm saying? I want everything on you. Or, man, I don't know about this. And then I got to sell it to you and tell you about, man, don't let the smell throw you off, man. I know it don't smell as good, but trust me, man, this thing hitting like crazy. I smoked it with a couple of my partners. I had a partner of mine tell me it was so great he fell asleep. Trust me, man, this stuff is just not. Why are you doing all that? If it's piff, it's piff. And you guys know what it is. You know what it is. When it comes time to this fight between him and Lamont Roach, it's not building up the excitement. It's not doing what you guys wanted to do. So now you're turning it into this hate campaign on him. It is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Right. And at the end of the day, are we going to see
here? Salute, punch. Salute, man.
Salute, bro. Yo, salute, bro. Word up, bro. Listen. I need to say something, bro. What's going down with this fucking, like, do you think Turki Al-Sheikh's gonna get Tank to fight, bro?
Oh wow. No, I don't think he's gonna get him to fight. I think if Tank in Turki Al-Sheikh does business, is going to be because of what the PBC has agreed to do with Turki. I don't think this is about what Tank is going to do with the with Turki. This is about what the PBC is going to do.
Listen, bro. We need to be getting everyone at the moment. It don't matter where they're from. They got to roll up to Saudi Arabia, bro. They got on this Muslim one-on-one thing, bro. Can't be ducking it, bro.
Where are you from? Are you from Australia? Or are you from the UK?
No. I'm from the UK. I'm from the UK. All I'm saying is that listen, people are gonna have to like. I really appreciate you having me on here. Like I've been in the casino. I live in Birmingham, second city in Europe. I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate you having me on here, bro. Like I've been out all day just enjoying myself. I love you guys to bits, but we're gonna have to be watching some guys fighting.
No, I agree. I agree with you 100%, man. I think that's what the fan base wants. But ultimately, you know, I'm be real with you. When it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis, I've always been on the side of we got to get used to the idea that we might not see him fight nobody that we want to see him fight. Just get used to it
The,
and let him
yeah.
retire, and we move on with boxing and allow boxing to do what it's supposed to do without him. I think we have to take that into consideration that might be a real reality that we have to deal with. You know what I mean?
Well, what's your prediction, bro? What's your prediction for the fight? Crawford against Canelo, bro.
You don't want to ask me. I'm a Crawford fan, man. I think Crawford's gonna give it
Listen, bro. This fight is gonna be insane. I've been to Mexico like twice, and I know exactly what goes on in Mexico. Like I've never been to the United States. I'm banned from there.
Oh,
I've
wow.
got
Man,
no.
you banned from the U.S. Jesus.
Yeah, I've got no. I've literally got no. I have no visa to get there, so I've got a criminal record, so I
Oh
can't get
wow.
into the United States.
Well, we got a new president. We got a new president. Maybe Donald let you in. You know what I mean? Donald. You know what I mean? Donald might let you in. Who knows?
I hope he would. I quite like Trump, so maybe he'll let me in.
Listen, man, he's a felon too now. You know what I'm saying? So relate, you know what I mean? He's a felon now as well. So you know what I'm saying? That doesn't necessarily you know what I mean, get you knocked off the list, man. Being a felon
Now listen, man. I'm the most hated person in the YTBC over all the years, man. I'm the most hated guy in the entire YTBC. It's just what it is. But I will say one thing, yeah. I will say one thing. I do think if Bud can turn up for that fight, I think if Bud can turn up for that fight and box and move and maybe drop something on Canelo, he could probably get 7 rounds to 5. What do you reckon? Do you reckon he'd get a decision?
All the above. I'll tell you this. I don't think he stops Canelo. I'm not stupid. I'm not finna talk. That's not what's gonna happen, right? But I do think that I do think that Terrence Crawford can win this fight one round at a time. And I think, like you said, it can end up a 7-5 situation. I think Terrence can win rounds. The question is, can he win enough rounds? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put you on hold for 1 second. And then let me bring in the other guys in the building here. Shout out to COE Films in the building and Ryan Fraser. What's on your mind, COE?
What's happening, man? I've been watching and listening to what you were saying earlier about the desperation, but I just want to say what's up to everybody, man. What's up to the chat? You know what I'm saying? What's up to everybody on the panel? Yeah, so I was hearing you talk about desperation, man, and you know I've been going back and forth with a lot of these guys, and it's been kind of tough, you know, for these guys, you know, trying to hold and take up for what Tank is doing, and what I'm finding is this how you know when you got them, you know, when they say what they think Tank is saying. When you say, well, hold up, he said this. Well, he didn't mean that. Well, he said, I think he was saying, and you know what he was saying when he said this. No, I don't. I know what a man says when a man lets something come out their mouth. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So you got to hold them to that. But when they get to saying what they think they saying, with what he was saying, and what they know he was saying, no, you can't go on what he was saying. You know what I mean?
Or you got to go only on what he was saying. You can't go on you can't be reading into it. You got to hear him what he said and give that the value. Like you can't go further than that because now you start to try to paint it.
Yeah. Now you're trying to paint the narrative. Now you're trying to twist it and make it fit your narrative. But if you stay on the facts of what he's saying, then you're gonna wind up looking crazy. So it's desperation. So you know, I love what Turkey is doing. And see, I think Turkey done took this shit personal now. But my bad, I ain't mean to curse on it, but I think Turkey done took it personal now, man, because first you're saying that people buying down and you don't need his money and you don't need to do this. Well, I wanna bring something to your attention. See, at first everybody talking about that Lamont and Tank fight. Well, now, Turkey done put out all type of cards and all type of matchups and everybody been saying this. So nobody's talking about that Tank and Lamont Roach fight like what you're saying. So I think he did that purposely. And I think he hurried up and closing all these deals and doing all this purposely, trying to take that attention off that fight. That's just me what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? But
I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but I do think it's happening that way though. Like I don't know if it's by design, but I think it, like what you're saying, I think is happening. I don't know if he's doing it with that in his crosshairs, if that makes any sense. I just think he's just like, look, I ain't waiting for nobody. I'm putting on the biggest events. You should join me. If you could put on big events,
right.
too, so we can make boxing great. But if you're not putting on big events, then yeah, you're kind of falling to the wayside a little bit, man. You're kind of looking like, you kind your situation is drying up. Ryan Fraser, what's good with you, family?
What's going on, man? What's going on, guys?
What's up, Ryan?
What's up, man?
Nah, man, the PBC, they had an opportunity to join just like everybody else. Turki Al-Sheikh is not playing favorites out here, so he's already done business with them. It's just these guys, they want to be difficult, and then now they want to turn around and act like they the victims. We're not gonna fall for that, bro. Like, Tank, you got the call. You the one that said you wanted 2 Ferraris. That was on you. Right. So don't be mad.
So, and I don't think people take that into consideration, Ryan. They try to act like, because Tank tried to paint that picture like he's getting left out, like they're not inviting him. Bro, you were one of the first people that was invited.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He said, I got 2 gloves, just like everybody else said, okay. So all the other guys accepted. Terrence Crawford's looking like a genius now because he went over there, blew up the whole plan for Spence, because Spence was supposed to fight Canelo. That's why Canelo went to the PBC. His fights were supposed to be Spence and the 2 Charlo brothers. And when that Spence fight blew up in his face, the 2 Charlo brothers, well, one of them fought him. Jamal's not, he's dealing with what he got to deal with. Canelo's gone. He ain't with the PBC no more. Signed to Turki Al-Sheikh.
Let me ask you this. What do you think about Jamal Charlo backing out of that fight? Well, Jamal Charlo backing out of that fight on that Tank card?
I think he got real issues, man. Like, we gotta pray for Jamal, man. Like, he got real issues, so he got to deal with life outside of boxing first. If it's true, his alcoholism, if it's come back, it's relapsed. So I'd rather him deal with that than try to jump into a fight, man, and get hurt. Like, there's no reason for that. So
or even embarrass himself. Yeah,
man, I get it, because we want to see him fight Plant and Demetrius Andre, and them guys ain't gonna play with him. So I'm glad he's out, but the PBC, they can still play. There's still time, man. Turki Al-Sheikh forgives.
Let me ask you guys this: if the PBC does break bread with Turkey, right? If they break bread, do you think Tank goes on that ride with the PBC to work with Turkey, or do you think his pride kind of puts him like he's gone too far? Do you think he's like over invested into this whole F Turkey campaign and and people are eating men parts, you know what I'm saying, being over there, you know what I'm saying, with that image that he's painted.
Right.
Do you think that it's gone too far?
I think it's gone too far, man.
Yeah.
I think it's gone too far. I think his pride, I've just been looking at the way he moved. I think his pride won't let him, even if he do try, or if the PBC do link up, I think his pride won't let him do it. And eventually he'll do something to kind of, backtrack on some things or make it difficult,
Right. And
I just want to defend myself for what's been said in the chat about this cross-dressing thing and all this shit. Listen, bro, I listen. Like I got like 4 children. I had the ability to wear my ex-woman's clothes, and like they're having to go about me, this, that, and the other. It's okay. You can say what you want about me in the chat, yeah. But listen, you ain't got the amount of children that I've got. You don't live in Birmingham, and I'll do what I want, bro. So,
okay.
Feel free.
I ain't gonna lie, man. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. We're gonna get back to this boxing, bro. I don't know what you're talking about, but
I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna dip.
all
I'm
right.
gonna dip. I'm just
Brother.
defending myself, bro. I'm just
All right.
defending myself, man.
No doubt, no doubt. Defend yourself in the chat, brother. It's right there. There you go. Peace out.
Yeah. Okay.
That was weird. We
Absolutely.
good. Let's get back to what we were saying. So yeah,
Nah, Tank. Yeah, he done talked himself out of it, but I think, like, to be honest, if he just accepted the fights by now, Tank would be probably the key guy over there. He'd be with Canelo, standing right beside Turki Al-Sheikh, front row.
Let's go back a few a year or so, right? When there was a fight offer for him for $20 million, right? We know that to probably be true because the way he's moving and talk about Ferraris and things of that nature. And when Turki said 2 Ferraris, that's it. I can give you 2 Ferraris. That's not a problem. He says now I want 3. We all recall that. I was under the influence, and I was actually privy to the fact that somebody actually gave me a good a scenario in the case of the PBC. The PBC is working with Turki, and because they're working with Turki, they highlighted the idea that if they can't afford these fights with for Tank and Canelo at the same time, how about they push Turki up? Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. And they push Tank to go over there to fight with Turki, and Turki because Tank has so much pride, he refused to do so, and that's why he's sitting where he's at with Lamont Roach. That's why Amazon probably, like, another reason why Amazon might not have pulled the trigger on that deal, because he's not playing ball correctly, and that would have took a lot of payment off of the plate of PBC for fights going forward with Tank Davis. That was a good thing I heard, but again, it's just rumors.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm wondering if he's gone too far, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think, like I said to the dude who was up here before, I think we might have to get comfortable with the idea and the fact that Tank is moving on from the sport, as far as in the conversations that we want him to be in. You know what I mean? I'm sure he'll be around making, pulling people up for 130 and, what I'm saying, making those great fights for his fans. Clearly, he has a fan base that will support that, so he'll do that for as long as he can do it. But I can say that clearly Turki's not interested in that, right? He's not interested in those kind of fights. If you're going to fight for Turki, it's going to be the hardest fights. It's going to be the most competitive fights, and I don't know if Tank is interested in that at this point.
Yeah, and all his contemporaries, they're all gone now. Dev just said bye-bye 140.
Right.
T.O.'s going to move up too. They're all going to move up, and they're leaving Tank behind, man. And he's going to be.
And him not even, and Shakur, like, I don't even care if the fight happens. I want it to happen. I hope it happens, but you know what? I'm not waiting for him. So these things are very bold statements from all these fighters. They're looking past it now. So, it's very important. What's up, True Rich? Salute, brother.
Hey, salute, Claire, Ray, and panel, man. What's going on, man?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good. What's good with you? What's on your mind?
Man, I've been in and out, man. I was trying to catch the last thing I was talking about.
Well, I mean, I think at this point we're just talking about Tank and what's his future going to look like if the PBC does do business with Turki, which is what I'm hearing. The rumor is that Riyadh and PBC may ultimately be destined to do a lot more work with each other, especially on the backside of this Amazon deal being in question. I'm hearing in May rumors about what Amazon may or may not be doing with the PBC. But ultimately, if the PBC and Turki ultimately do a lot of work with each other, do you see Tank getting involved in that conversation? Does he end up ultimately fighting on a Turki or Riyadh season sponsored card, or does he walk away from the sport?
I think logically, the PBC need funding, so they definitely gonna end up working together. Now, I can see a scenario where they try to hold on to Tank independently and maybe do some fights, but I think ultimately the Turki and the bag gonna come into play, and I don't think it's gonna make sense to say, okay, Tank, take this 15 million guarantee and eat what you kill and possibly make 25 million when Turki might offer you a fight that's worth 40 or 50 million. I think at the end of the day, you're gonna bow down at a certain point, especially if Canelo do it. People mimic other people. So if Canelo does it, he's gonna eventually follow suit. My question is, Tank professional enough though? Is he gonna get on the turkey card talking about he gonna cancel the fight or he ain't fighting, or that would be more of my concern. I think the bag is something he won't be able to turn down. But does Turkey be a little bit dirty and say, yeah, I give you that 40-50 million, but you fighting on the undercard? You see what I mean? Or does Turkey say, hey, we can use Tank to be our foray into the American market? I think it's too much business there to be ultimately to be turned down.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, and I think like Tank, like even if it's an undercard, what if it's a super card like that February
Exactly.
22nd? Like what if Canelo's the top of the bill and it's Tank as the co-main? We got two of our stars in the sport. It's a Super Bowl for us, for boxing fans.
Right.
So I don't think Tank should take offense to that when you're getting paid handsomely, bro. Just you know what I'm saying? Do it for the sport. But I get it. He doesn't seem like he's that type of dude. It's more for him. But it's the biggest bag still.
Well, see, I think a lot of things. Another thing that'll come into play is his fan base. His fan base been going so hard for him. Like, will they even be okay? Because man, it's a lot of them that's been talking down on Turkey and talking about what he's doing and how they thinking, how Turkey think that he can buy everybody, or they they've been supporting a lot of that rhetoric that Tank been saying, and it's gonna be hard to even try to get your fan base to even be on board with that. Some of his fan base might turn his back on him, talking about, oh man, I thought you wasn't gonna bow down to the ring. So he gonna have to face a lot of that, you know what I mean? Or I mean, I'm just speaking in speculation on what his fans might do, but the way they've been acting now, I'm just thinking, how will they act if he bow down? Will they still ride for him? Will they turn on him? So
Yeah,
you got to
I
put that
agree
into
with you.
play.
I agree with you. I think Tank's got a fan base that's going to support him, and he can always eat off that fan base. He just has to find somebody who's willing to go with that business model with him. But once again, I'll just say that Turkey's not interested in that business model. If Tank is coming over there fight with Turkey, whether it's through the PBC, whether it's directly through Turkey, it's going to be competitive fights exclusively. It's not going to be. I'm going to give you this fight. Like, Tank is not going to get a say like that, and he's going to fight competitive fights, which I don't know why he wouldn't want to. I don't understand the whole idea behind not being in these competitive fights, especially if the money's right. But it's not going to be, okay, we're going to pull up, Gary Russell Jr., you know what I'm saying? And make this big fight. You're not going to go pull up, Oshaki Foster, you know what I'm saying, for 130 and make this fight. That's not what it's going to be with him. It's going to be a 135 pounder, if not 140 pounder, which is what I'm more leaning towards with Tank. If it's not Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis, that is, I think I could see them being like, look, Ryo next. You know what I'm saying? Somebody at 140 next. And I don't know, it's just something for him to have to figure out. But I think it's going to be interesting to see it play out, because it does look like the PBC and Riyadh season is going to work together, like on a real PBC Riyadh situation.
He said he's gonna call out somebody. So I mean, let's see what he's gonna say after this fight. Let's see who he call out, because me honestly, I think it's probably someone besides Shakur. I would hope it be Shakur, but I think he's going to be leaning towards more of like a Ryo, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that probably still that has a belt for him still, that he could probably go up to 140. I think he's going to try to get away from Shakur and Keyshawn. I don't think he even wants that smoke, man, at this point.
Do you guys think that Tank is, I don't want to say nothing crazy, right? But do you guys think that Tank doesn't want to fight these dudes? Like, you think that's really what it is? Or do you think it's the business of boxing that's getting in the way?
Well, he said he didn't want it. Yeah, I mean, he talking about what Shakur done, and you saying stuff like that. That's I go, like I said, I go off what you say. And if you talking about what has he done, and he clearly done more than any fighter that you've been fighting. then that tells me one thing: you don't want to fight him, and plus you're sending out messages talking about you sent the contract and he didn't sign it and it went a different direction and all that. You're contradicting yourself. It's just showing me you don't want it, because if you want it, you'll be doing stuff like what Bud doing. You'll be
Right.
saying stuff. You'll be saying it. You'll be saying what you want, and then you make it clear on what you want. So yeah, I mean,
So
I
you're
don't
of
know.
the thought process where you're getting, if you're not there yet, it looks like you're getting closer and closer to feeling like Tank don't really want the smoke. Because I'm be real with you, I wasn't on that, right? And I don't know if how many people were really on that. I was really more so like thinking it was the PBC kind of not being in a position to make these fights happen for Tank. But as Tank is starting to getting more and more vocal and started speaking more and more, it is seeming like he's not pressed to make the fights happen either.
Exactly.
Um, Tank, what it is, I believe Tank thinks he could beat all those guys, no question about it. Why wouldn't he think that?
So
But the question is it smart to fight all those guys? Now that decision gonna come from the top. That's gonna come from the PBC. And I think they got enough examples. Look what Arrow did. He fucked up the bag. You see what I mean? And I think Tank is buying into the business to see, because that's what he was brought up on. He was brought up on the understanding, make big events. That we don't have to fight the hardest fight. And also I think is that kind of rich nigga hate to the point I don't want to share money with you, Shakur. I don't want you to make no money with me, Devin. You saw him threaten that with his own coaches when he said they're getting too comfortable with making money with me. So he understands that's a power of his to supply money to people. So I also think he doesn't want to share the money with these guys. You see what I mean? But he'll share it with Ryan Garcia. He'll share it with certain people. So I definitely think he can beat everybody, but I think he's following the business model of just stay away from the guys and get your money and go home.
So you thinking
But
that
that's
he's
not
fighting?
that's not sustainable.
He's
No,
making.
it's not. It's not in the long run. It's not. It's not. But I think that's what he's going with.
You think so? Do you believe what it sounds like you're saying is that Tank is taking things personal and he's fighting his fights outside the ring with these guys? He's fighting the fight with them, with the money, with the opportunity. He's not fighting the fight in the ring. And I'm bringing it up that way to say, like, where Devin and Ryan kind of like cross lines, where Devin decided to take the fight into the courtroom and people kind of were like, that's not the way you do things in boxing. Do you think this potentially falls in the same category as far as Tank not taking his issues with other boxers that he can fight in the ring? Instead, he's taking it outside of the ring, where he's actually trying to freeze them out, starve them out, hurt their pockets, and not necessarily try to prove it in the ring?
Yeah, basically, he don't want them to get money with him. At the end of the day, I'm willing to verbally spar with you. I'm even willing to attack you in the street. But what I ain't gonna let you do is get no money with me. You see what I mean? I'm not gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. You saw Floyd Mayweather do that a little bit too. Concerned who he gonna let make the money with him.
That's
I
that
just think
old.
that's.
That's that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. That's that old PBC model.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's Turkey out of sheet. It's a new era. So you're gonna have to switch. You're gonna have to switch it up. I mean, are you gonna get the money while the money is hot and prime right now, or are you just gonna sit back? Because at this point, you're not. You don't have to worry about the A side, this side of the street, the B side, or what I mean. You don't have to worry about none of that now. What you got to worry about, like, hey, is this fight right here is what the fans want to see.
Right.
Is this what the fans want to see? If you don't get the fans what they see, then you're going to be labeled as you're ducking, and there's not going to be no debating.
Right.
You either do it because the money is there. You're gonna have to do it. Period.
Are we forgetting the three things that happened in last 3 or 4 years with Tank Davis? Are we forgetting the fact that he had opportunities to be undisputed from not only Devin Haney but from Kambosos and Teofimo, who both called him out. He went his only way. He forgot. He decided that he didn't want to fight Loma until he was. It seems like now that he's ready to retire. He didn't. He says Shakur is nobody to fight, but yet all these guys on this hit list that he put out there, that he made a hit list, but yet he doesn't want to fight any of these guys. Did we also forget that he also mentioned that he wanted to go undisputed once he was announced as the champion? You know what I mean? Other than the WBA champion, it's full blown. That he said that he's going for undisputed. That's the way to do it. And now he's like turning all his back to that. Like, is he like? It makes me think like sometimes like he's schizophrenic a little bit. Like, he wants one thing, or he wants to, when he's happy, he wants all these things, but then when things are not going his ways, he's just like, all right, you know what? Bump all them, get them out of my way. I'm just going to do what I want to do. It's like a spoiled child. We have a source of a sense, of thinking that could be the case.
I think it's a little bit of everything, Ray. I'm be honest with you. I feel like, listen, man, let me tell you guys, man, and this is just my perspective, right? I don't know how this is going to go down with the Tank fans. I think Tank is a spoiled child, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that, he throws fits in front of cameras now that Floyd is not there to regulate his exposure to the camera as far as what he's saying. And I think people, although Tank comes from humble beginnings as far as, I know the adversity he's faced in his life with his mother and the way he was raised in foster homes and his grandparents. I know he had a hard life. You know what I'm saying? I get those stories, but I also know that ever since the age of like 8, 9 years old, he's been looked at as a little prodigy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of saw the talent in Tank, and I think he was protected and sheltered a little bit, coddled a little bit. And I think going through his whole entire career, he's kind of been like the conversation. When he was able to finally get on with Floyd Mayweather and get put under Floyd Mayweather's wing, Tank has just gotten into a space to where he's not humble enough to chase legacy, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the humility he's missing to say that these fights are important because of all the work he's put in the gym with his coaches and his whole entire life, what he's been through, that he owes it to himself. He owes it to his fans, you know what I'm saying, to chase down these opportunities to show the world who he is. I think he's more so throwing fits on the camera, getting upset at things not going his way, and it's turning into him like being like, I'm going to leave the park with my ball type of energy.
Right.
If that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. That makes great sense, because I mean, you look at it like you said, you've been the young prodigy. You've been the one that they've been saying is this and that there. And now that the rubber is meeting the road, that everybody now is seeing that you can't hide behind the A side. You can't hide behind the money. That stuff right there means a lot now. Now you got to face the fact that, hey, are you really about that life? And if you are about that life, then move like it.
Right.
And if you're not going to move like it, then people are going to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? Like I say, you got to listen to what people say, man. When Tank say they need to give me $150 million and he'll rematch Ryan.
Right.
That's what he said out here. He didn't pick a top guy for the most money. We don't need pay-per-view if you're giving $150 million. But he said he'll rematch Ryan. He picked the easy fight. So that lets you know he's not thinking about these guys.
Yeah, exactly. And shout out to Rich. He really enlightened me on the topic, because I agree with him. Like, I don't think Tank's afraid of these guys. He's already shared the ring with them, sparring many, many times. I just think it comes down to business of boxing, and this sport's the worst in business wise. You're trying to make some money in it, it's hard, man. It's really, really hard. So he's one of the few guys that is making good money. And it's crazy that you're saying that he don't want to share with the other dude who look just like him, man. I don't like, that's where I'm like, you enlighten me with that, bro. Because if I'm trying to go buy some clothes, I'm gonna go to my brother who's selling clothes. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put the money in his pocket, and hopefully it builds the community. So the fact that you saying that, brother, is crazy to me, but it's like, wow, this game's really dirty. This game is dirty.
Yeah. I mean, just to expound on what you said, like, he done graced the ring with these guys, right? And now all of a sudden, it's a camaraderie, and obviously if you don't want to make some money in this sport, and you talking about you the cash cow, and you did this, and you telling Bud, but I still make more money than you, and XYZ. If it's all about the money, then you got to start asking yourself, which fight makes more? A fight with Shakur or a fight with Lamont? Which one makes the most money?
Right.
Obviously, the fight that people want to see, that they clamoring for. So either go get that fight, which you will make the most money, since you're talking about the money. Make that fight. Make it happen. Devin Haney, make it happen. You want to backtrack with Pitbull, you want to backtrack with Ryan, then okay. Then one, what you're telling me is one, that you're comfortable with fighting those guys. That's one. Number two, yeah, it'll be a fight that some of the people want to see, but a lot of people don't want to see that. If you want to be honest, because you already beat them. Let's talk about the fight that people want to see, where you're going to make the most money. And if you don't want to make the most money, then don't say you the cash cow. Don't say you still making more money than people. Then, and that's my take on that.
Do you think that there's the price that the I had to open on something from the wife. Do you think that that there's a limitation to like what the PBC can offer Tank for these fights? In other words, you said earlier that his biggest fight and his biggest paydays with Shakur Stevenson, right? Or with these fights that we want to see. But is it with the PBC? Is the PBC limited to what they can pay for, to the fights that they can actually put out there? Do you think that's getting in the way of these fights happening, and Tank being stubborn and not wanting to go outside to these other resources like Riyadh that can pay for these actual fights is getting in the way of these actual fights happening?
Hey, well, look, think about it like this. First of all, Tank is being governed with loyalty. So he's stuck. He's stuck being loyal right now. Now, like I try to tell you, man, I look at the numbers. All right. If you present to me your best pay-per-view at 1.2 million, and it seems you even said that you made $40 million and that Ryan made 30, well, simple math can say that I'm still here.
Yeah,
Simple math can tell you that from 1.2 million to 300 is an 80% drop. So is that an 80% drop in pay? That means you will only make $8 million off 300,000 pay-per-views.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, see, yeah, that's So the PBC.
Hey, let me go right quick, and I'm gonna have to get out of here. But so that's only $8 million. I'm pretty sure we both assume that he's probably getting guaranteed more than that. So now you need 200,000 pay-per-views to pay for that event, and you're only selling 300,000 pay-per-views. So it's some money challenges in there, man. People just got to be real. It's basic math. There's some money challenges in there. And the answer is Turkey, man. Go get the bag, man. But you're going to fight a fight that you never fought before. You're going to have to fight a fight that you never fought before if Turkey give you that bag. So we got to hope that Turkey actually offer him the bag so we know we get a fight.
Right. And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you ended it with that, because I was thinking the same thing when Clay asked the question and to speak to you guys earlier. I don't think it's so much easier that, he thinks in his head that he can beat, or everybody thinks they can beat everybody, right? That's why the guys were calling him out. And last that I checked, shout out to Ring IQ, the reason why we have boxing, right, is because you call out the fighter in front of you, the guy you want to fight, regardless of the A side, B side, whatever, you want to fight these guys. He doesn't seem to show interest in these guys he wants to fight. He seems to only want to show interest in making money. But yet he wants the belts, or he wants to tell these guys how soft they are and how they're this. I think the sparring sessions that he did being in the ring with these guys has shown difficulty in him. And I think even his team has even suggested interest that these guys are not going to be walkovers. They're not going to be pushovers. You're going to have to go in your bag to beat these guys. This is not something that's going to be an easy fight. And this is a possible loss on your record. Do you want to go out like that, or do you want to go out like this? I believe in legacy. I think a loss only helps you get greater. Because a failure only helps you grow, right? So I think, he's just a person that came, as Clay mentioned earlier. He came from a circumstance which many boxers did across the world, humble beginnings, right? And I think when he's touched failure and he doesn't want to touch that again, I think that's in the back of his mind. Is he's right now he's at the top of the pinnacle. He doesn't want to go back down. He doesn't want to feel like when everybody turns their back on him. He doesn't want that anymore. He likes where he is, and I think he's comfortable with that. And I think that says a lot to where he is and how he acts.
Yeah, PBC, and like you said, that they'd have been in the ring with him. He done graced the ring with him. And do you think that he's comfortable with getting in there and exposing himself to the fan base and to be looked at as, oh, well, he's not like that, or you think he's scared for that to come out? And Clay, you asked, do you think PBC is limited? I do think PBC is limited to the point where, and I've said this before to you, it's like you rob Peter to pay Paul. You have this event so you can pay this, so you can pay this person. And, I think that's one of the big reasons why, a lot of that was being delayed for us with Earl and with the Charlos, and you get those fights to where they need this revenue to come in order to give Tank that big bag or to give Canelo that big bag. And I think with them giving the Canelo those big bags, I think it kind of hindered the other fights, which in terms make the other fights not being able to be made, and we don't get the fights as regular as we need them. So that's why a lot of these platforms, HBO, Showtime, CBS, I think a lot of these platforms is getting out because they're not getting those regular fights. They're not getting the eyes on the fights like PBC told them that they would. You know what I mean? So the money is becoming the issue, I think, because that's the only way I can think about it. The reason why we're not getting these fights. You put on. It takes money to put on these fights, and if you can't put these fights on, then that just showed me that there's some money issues. I mean, look at right now. Look at Turki. Man, these fights coming left and right, and he's putting them on, and look at the way that he's being presented. Look at the presentation. Look at the videos. Look at the trailers and all that. Man, that's money, and you got to entice the people. Look, you got the game coming out. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of this stuff that he putting his money behind. And these fights, he putting on these fights because the money is plentiful. So when you ask me, could PBC, do you think it's a problem? Yeah, it's a problem. The money is the problem. So I throw on the. Go ahead.
Well, I think there is a limitation to there's some limitation here without a doubt. And I think one thing that's consistent that people have to understand is that to make big fights, it takes big money. That's how it works. That's how big fights work out. It takes big money to make big fights. If your money, if you're going through financial issues on putting together fights, and big fights just isn't in your it's not in your realm of things that you can reach for. It's just kind of like going into a Gucci store with just $500 in your pocket. It's like you're in the wrong store, right? You shouldn't be in this store. You can't be in this store. You could look around, you could window shop, but even at some point, it's going to become awkward when it comes time to buying something, because you go into a Gucci store, you want to have a solid $5 to 10 grand in your pocket to be in the store, to really walk out of that store with something in the store that makes sense, not just a belt. And I don't think you get a Gucci belt for $100. So that being said, I think there's a situation here to where the big fights for Tank Davis are equivalent to big money having to being spent. And I'm wondering if the PBC is having a hard time putting up the money for the biggest fights, and Tank in a way being frustrated with that, with the fact that now he has to deal with the media in his face, the cameras in his face, the microphones in his face that are asking him questions about fights that he knows his company that represents him can't realistically put together for him. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like, I'm going to shoot back at you guys. Like, why are you even bringing up these fights? These fights aren't even, what did this guy do for this? What did this guy do for that? Because what he can't do is sit up there and say, we ain't got the money for these fights. And I'm not going to leave to go to Turki Al-Sheikh to make these fights. I think Turki's aware of it. And that's why Turki said, listen, man, I want to put together Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. He let it be known straight up. I want to pay for this fight. Why did he say that? He said that because I think he, in his heart, he believes that's why this fight hasn't happened. It's because the money's not there. And you guys don't have the dare I say, if I want to speculate even further, and I'm sure I can get 100 shots thrown at me for saying what I'm about to say, I wouldn't be shocked if the PBC hasn't already hollered at Turki Al-Sheikh to put this fight together. You know what I'm saying? If they haven't already presented this as an opportunity for Turki to get involved with this fight. I think the question of the matter is, Turki willing to be a silent partner or not? And I think there's no way in hell Turki would be a silent partner. He would never just put up the money and allow you to put an event like that up and not let the world know that he's behind it or a large part of the reason why this fight is happening. He's not going to get involved in something like that. Riyadh wouldn't get involved in something like that. So now it comes down to finding the investment, right? Finding investors that are willing to put money up to have this Shakur Stevenson and Tank fight happen exclusively under the PBC and Amazon Prime banner. And I think it's becoming more and more difficult for that to come full circle. I think that Tank is limited. I think this fight he calls out on March 1st, don't be shocked if the fighter he calls out on March 1st is still not a fight that you guys asked for, but I think it will be a fight that we could be interested in, whoever the opponent is. I think it could be a fight that we'll be interested in because it'll be more competitive, but I don't think it'll be Shakur. I don't think it'll be Tio. I don't think it'll be Devin. I don't think it'll be these Ryo. I don't think it'll be these fighters that you want to see him fight. Maybe Ryo, but I don't think it's going to be none of these guys. I think it's still going to be a fight that you can see on a service level is affordable. You're going to see the price tag on it.
And I'm gonna say the last thing before I go. What I can tell you is, I think he eventually goes to the PBC and Tank. They'll eventually have to bow down. I think the lure of the money is eventually will be too great. Or Tank just gonna fight the next couple fights if he could fight Ryan Garcia or Pitbull Cruz again and get on out of there. But if they stay there, it's gonna be because they merge. Sometimes you gotta merge, man. You gotta know when the big dog done came in with the blue magic, and you just gotta merge. You know what I'm saying? This happens all the time in business, And yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of embarrassment on Tank Davis' part, or people to support the PBC, but they'll get through. As fans, they'll get through it because they'll support Tank, and you'll still be looking at a real big fight. But the last thing I'm gonna say is, man, the landscape is changing, though, man. Not to mention another content creator, but I was watching KO last night, and his argument with the chat was, "What's y'all problem with the PBC? Why y'all have so many issue with the PBC?" And then it's a video. What's the difference between Turki and Al Heyman? So what we're seeing is slowly, even the Tank fans are starting to wake up a little bit. They're not so. I don't know if y'all ever been supervisor before, man, but if you ever been a supervisor, you know what you get used to hearing: a lot of good excuses.
Yep.
You hear a lot of good excuses why people can't do this, they can't do that, but when real things happen, it's very simple. So I think people are starting to realize Tank has too many excuses why these fights can't happen. There's always a real good reason. And eventually they're slowly starting to turn on it a little bit, and the pressure will be applied to the PBC and the Tank to make a big fight. Now, we've seen this done before. It was slow rumbles about Tank ain't never fought a black guy. He ain't never fought a black guy. And it started to get loud. It started to get louder. And next thing you know, you got Tank versus Frank. It's because they're listening. So every time you do a podcast, everybody doing a podcast, they are listening. You are giving them data. So we have to apply the pressure. Hey, man, we ain't accepting, the banana in the tailpipe trick no more. This dude got to fight somebody. And when that rises to a fevering pitch, they'll make the fights.
Right, True Rich, real quick before you leave. Check it. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense. What if, and this is a really strong what if, right? I actually believe this to be true. What if Tank is retiring because the PBC already decided that they're going to move with Turki, and he just can't bite, can't swallow the bullet, bite the bullet, whatever, and accept that. Like he's so stubborn that he just wants to move on with his career and not go fight for this guy.
Well, who's gonna give him the money? Somebody got to pay him the money. You're eventually gonna go where the watering hole is. You got to go. You got to go where the money at. I just think Turkey gonna lure him in. Come on, he got money. Come on, the same thing that the PBC. Come over here, get your highest payday. What happened when Turkey lured Tank with his highest payday? He'll get him.
I agree. I want to add to it, just like to respond to what Ray just said. I think that's all possible, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like I think that's why I asked the question I did earlier, as far as what will happen. Will he put his pride to the side, or do you guys think he'll walk away? That just based off the fact that I'm seeing it to become more and more. I'm becoming more and more confident in the idea that the PBC is going to get ready to work with Riyadh, and I don't know if the zone necessarily is going to be involved in it. I think obviously that's why I would think Turkey. And Saudi Arabia in general, Riyadh season in general, going to push him in that direction, being that they have a 10% ownership in the zone now. That's a platform that they're always going to promote and push out there. I don't know if the PBC is going to, because the fans of the PBC have made it to where if the PBC goes to the zone, the PBC is probably going to lose some fans. Like, people look like they're going to really be upset if the PBC goes to the zone. Yep. Now, what's going to happen is the PBC is going to have to embrace a whole new fan base that really appreciate boxing, an international fan base, which I think is going to be great for the PBC. But I do think that there's going to be some remodeling to their image. It's going to, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be some reinvention, because the fans that they're going to, the PBC, are going to be fans that probably appreciate boxing more on the international stage. Bigger fights are going to be there, bigger paydays. Really a dream come true for somebody like Al Heyman, who's looking to make the most money he can. But I think there's also a sacrifice that's going to be paid, which is going to be in PBC, the blood of PBC fans. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be sacrificed in that move. And we're just going to have to see how they deal with it. I think they're going to have to consider moving forward without Tank. Tank has talked so much. I can't even picture him fighting under a Turkey card. I can't picture him thanking His Excellency at a press conference like every other fighter does. You know what I'm saying? Like every other fighter does that at the press conference. First, I want to thank God. I want to thank Al Heyman, and I want to thank His Excellency Turk. What is he going to do? What is he going to say? Because they take that disrespect serious over there. You're not going to sit there up on that man's platform and not acknowledge him. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you this. I think Gervonta in a real big fight, if Turkey paying all these other guys this amount of money, I think Gervonta is worth a $35-40 million payday, and it would be great in the American market. That could be Turkey weight. He can use them to really infiltrate the American market. And how Tank gonna turn the money down? People have an illusion you could just go get money from anywhere, but it don't really work like that, And I think when Turkey come with that bag, man, he gonna have to bite the bullet. That's why I say it's gonna be a little bit embarrassing. But you gotta butter your bread, man. But look, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'll be in the chat, man. I'm in the snow down here in Atlanta, man. It's snowing down here, man. It's crazy out here.
It's snowing?
Yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm talking about big.
So what part of Atlanta you from, Rich?
I'm from Decatur, but I'm staying in Buckhead.
Okay, I lived in Decatur for a minute. I stayed over to Clifton Farm right there.
Yeah. You right around the way then. You were right around the way then.
I lived right over there in that area. I had a house over
y'all
there.
shopped at the same Walmart. Ain't that cute?
I know about that. Right over there by that Penn, by the Georgia, the Panthers and all them. Like right there.
Pantherville.
Yeah, exactly. Bong. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm right over in the same area, down the street.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, well, I'll be in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all letting me come up.
No doubt, family. Appreciate you coming up as usual, man. Thank you.
All right.
Dude, good conversation, Clay.
No doubt, Ray. I mean, and I think it is an interesting conversation, because I think it's coming closer and closer to a reckoning. Right. You know what I mean? I think there's a reckoning that's right around the corner. It's right there. It's about to happen, and it's going to be real interesting watching how the fans are going to deal with it, because the fans are just the boxing space, as far as the urban boxing space, as far as the people that look like us and we look like them, you know what I mean? But they not us and we not them, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about, these guys right here, these guys right here are having a hard time dealing with the reality of what boxing is an international sport, and they really hung up their whole entire fandom around one fighter. You know what I mean?
Especially when they putting
So
hashtags
they're gathering
in,
and it's becoming dangerous out here in these YouTube streets, man.
when they representing different clans with hashtags, dog. That says a lot right there.
Listen, there's a lot of drill rapping energy.
I respect some of the crews. I ain't got no beef with nobody. I'm just saying, but when you start putting hashtag crew, it starts to say your separation and where your alliance is, and you kind of look like, you know what I mean, like.
Ron, you know I ain't lying. You know I ain't lying, bro.
It's crazy work, bro. It's crazy work, and then to have somebody sit there, right? Somebody sit there and try to get tough with you because you don't agree with their fighter. That's even worse. Like, yo, what are you talking about? First of all, are you even listening to what I'm saying? Or are you just going to sit here and just argue the point that makes no sense because you're just mad because your fighter's not doing what he should be doing? But then you say you want, this is a good fight, but it's not a good fight. Which one is it? It's okay when you say it's not a good fight, but when we say it's not a good fight, then, it's a problem.
Well, look, when people are upset, Ray, when people are upset, reasoning goes out the window. Practical thinking goes out the window, right? When people are just and what you're seeing with a lot, and I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm talking about the Tank fans, bro. You feel me? I'm talking about the fans that confront me on a daily basis on any little thing that I say about boxing that involves Tank, that doesn't involve, stroking him off in front of the world. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't involve celebrating him. It's always violent. It's always confrontational, and it's always discussed.
Right.
And it's always about Tank, and it's always these dudes. It's always these dudes that you're speaking to. This is the dudes that you're speaking on whenever you're getting into these conversations on these panels, and you're trying to talk about boxing, and you're talking about Tank, or even if you're talking about Shakur or Devin, and they want to bring up Tank. These dudes right here always bring the conversation down to a level to where it's like drill rap music. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like you're going to war with these dudes. You know what I mean? For nothing over some boxing conversation. And my thing is, when Tank leaves, what are you guys going to do? Who are y'all going to get behind it? You're going to turn Abdullah Mason into the new Tank, and all of a sudden you're going to be banging on everybody. So anytime somebody talks about Floyd Schofield, you're going to be like, but Abdullah. Every time somebody brings up Andy Cruz, you're going to be like, yeah, but Abdullah Mason, you know what I'm saying? Is that what it's going to be? I think you'll be better off, though, being a fan, a hardcore fan behind Abdullah Mason, because he wants to do nothing but fight the best. So at least you won't have to sit out here and just defend nonsense every single week. You'll be able to actually support a fighter who supports you, So
I had put a question in the chat, and I like the reaction I got about Ryan Garcia. Tank wants to fight Ryan Garcia, right? But why would he want that when I think the bigger fight, and I actually thought this, but I wanted to see what the fans would say. I mean, our chat would say, what's the bigger fight? Tank rematching Ryan Garcia or Devin rematching Ryan Garcia? And everybody said Devin. It's a bigger fight. So that fight can actually be a humongous payday. I think that payday is bigger than Tank versus Ryan, especially if Ryan Tank's not going to fight him at full weight or without rehydration clause or anything of that nature, without a catch weight. So, I mean, it says a lot, right? So I don't think people want to see that again, especially for $79. You can watch Devin and Ryan for $30 or $20.
Yeah. I think like, shout out to the thumbnail. The boxing game is transcending, man. It's transcending, it's evolving, right? In the last 18 months since Turki Al-Sheikh's been involved in it, he's been able to move the needle in multiple different ways. It's nonstop. He has so many more things that he's coming out with that he hasn't even spoken about, like that WBC tournament with the prospects. You know what I'm saying? What he's going to do with those prospects. That's going to be epic. That's going to be up at what Mauricio Suleiman is entertaining, that Turkey's going to fund with that tournament. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I heard about it.
It's a tournament with the prospects where he's going to only have the prospects in the tournament, all prospects. He's developing the next generation of fighters as well. He's investing in that part. So that lets you know what the future of boxing is going to be. And he's going to introduce the best of the best that come out of that tournament into some bags, into some competitive fights. And then what you're going to end up seeing is he's going to start bringing the top prospects over into contenders. And then you're going to see him bringing the champions challenges. That's what he's doing. He's making the top guys fight each other, but ultimately he knows that's going to dry out at some point. So he's getting the next wave of fighters that are going to challenge those champions, and he's ultimately going to be fighting. He's going to be finding the best fighters he can find to beat those champions. and he's diabolical with it because he'll say it, right? He's going to say to you, I got somebody who's going to beat you. Are you ready for that? And you're going to be like, what? Somebody going to beat me? I'm telling you. And I'm putting him on your next fight. He's going to beat you. And then right there on the stage, he's going to say to that kid, you know, I got a lot on you, man. I need you to beat this guy. I really need you to shut this guy up. That's how he's carrying it. He's carrying it like a fan. He did that with Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. You remember? He said, Tyson Fury, we want rabbit. You owe me a rabbit. And he said, I got you. Right in front of Usyk. Usyk was like, all right, man, that's how you feel about it. He did the same thing with Deontay and Zhale Zhang. He did the same thing with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Right in front of Francis Ngannou, he said, Anthony, man, I need you to knock this dude out. We can't let this dude come from mixed martial arts and come here and show you up in boxing. I need you to show these guys what it's about. I need you. And Francis was like, damn. Francis kind of complained about it a little bit later.
And I think we get the best champion, if not have a champions tournament at the end of the year. They don't have to lose their titles, but they can fight for the lineal championship. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they're prize the champion of the year, almost like a Super Bowl type thing or a playoff. That'd be dope too. You know what I mean?
That's why he bought Ring Magazine. I believe that's why he bought Ring Magazine. He's putting value in that belt. He's making that Ring Magazine belt a big deal. You saw him. He literally presented that belt to Alexander Usyk. That was the belt he presented. He didn't give him the undisputed belt. Remember the belt that he was giving away? He didn't bring that belt into the conversation. It was the Ring Magazine belt that he put on his shoulder and gave to him. He knew that his undisputed belt didn't hold the value he wanted it to hold. He knew that it was a new belt and that the space wasn't going to embrace it. He saw what happened when he did that with Beterbiev and Bivol, and what happened when he did that with Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury won. He's like, all right, they're not respecting this belt. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go grab Ring Magazine. Let me buy that off Oscar, and we're going to bring back Ring Magazine belt as being the belt that's the biggest belt you can get. And now Riyadh has that belt, and we're giving that belt out. And we're only giving that belt out to real fighters who have really earned it. It's going to be interesting to see it pan out, man. Yeah, Ryan Frazier, the WBC Grand Prix. That's what it's called. The Grand Prix. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, he's doing that with the prospects. You didn't know about that, Ray?
No, you said WCW Grand Prix.
I said WCW? My bad.
Yeah,
I meant WBC.
I had to think about it. I was like, did he say WCW?
My bad, bro. I'm at the WBC. WBC Grand Prix for sure, man.
I wasn't even gonna call you out on it, but you asked me.
Nah, bro, man. You know,
I just made a face like, hold on, did he just say what I think he said?
You know, I wear my humility on my sleeve, bro. I don't even give a damn. I never care.
We're human, bro, and that's what connects us to our chats. You know what I mean? To our fans, we're human. Mm-hmm. We ain't afraid to wear that, bro. We're not trying to be right all the time.
Nah, bro. We just want to make sure at the end of the day it's accurate, and I'd rather you check me here than I'm getting checked in some other content creator channel. Like, look what this idiot said on the channel. You know what I mean? At least I corrected it right here. It is what it is. Right. But yeah, man, Tank, man, I hope you figure it out. I'm no longer putting pressure on him. You don't hear me asking him to fight the best. I don't care no more. I'll be honest with you. I'm okay with you fighting Lamont Roach. Let that be your next fight. I just don't want to be cornered and pressured into including you in pound for pound conversations and things like that. I can't do it. Not while you're fighting Lamont Roaches. It is what it is. I'm sorry. So
I'm paying $90 for it. I'm gonna tell you, like I said, when Keith Thurman was fighting Tim Tszyu.
Tim Tszyu. Nope. Right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm gonna respect what you do. I'm gonna respect what you do. Please respect what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna respect how you want to move. I have no problem with it, but please don't expect me to say something that's not true, man. I'm not riding with that, man. It is what it is, man. Fight your fight, man. Fight Lamont. I can't wait to hear who you call out March 1st. Hopefully it's a fight I want, but if it's not, we'll just be getting ready for that. But in the meantime, while that's happening, Shakur, shout out to Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, you know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez, all these great fights that are about to get made. Right. Jerron Boots Ennis, all these great fights that are going to happen. David Morrell, David Benavidez. We got enough to celebrate in the boxing space. We don't got to put it all on Tank's shoulder to show improved boxing. You know what I mean? It's not that serious.
Right.
Yeah, I need to get to that. Just say forget Tank, leave him out of the pound for pound. Yeah, man. I mean, if you want to put him in a pound for pound list, it's definitely up to you. But yeah, man, get comfortable. We need to get comfortable with the fact that Tank has decided that he's going to move with his career how he sees fit. That's what all these fighters are choosing to do. The fighters whose goals align with what you want to see them do, celebrate them. And the ones that don't, allow them to be what they're being on the sideline, man. Turki's done it. I'm doing it. I think Ray's doing it. A lot of content creators, are, a lot of boxing fans are getting to that place where it's just like, he don't want to do it, bro. Stop pressuring it.
Right.
Period. I mean, he don't want to do it, bro. What can you say? That's not what he wants. We're gonna stop pressuring you, bro. And if you retire, man, salute, man. You made a lot of money. You did something I would never do. You went in that ring, competed for however 30 plus fights. You went undefeated. You beat a lot of dudes up. You made a lot of money. Salute to you, brother. Salute.
According to Boxing Ego, he did it looking pretty.
Let's go. Hey, I heard about that too. That's a whole nother conversation, right? I heard about that awkward situation that I was hearing about, but I ain't gonna even bring that up right now. But I'm just gonna say at the end of the day, man, boxing is great, man. It's moving in a great direction, and I can't wait to and I can't wait to see what Turkey's got planned. And honestly, I can't wait to see how the PBC deals with this. I just hope they don't fade away, like they don't just allow it to fall apart. That they make a power move soon in this year. No pressure, right, LaRon? No pressure, brother. You're right, man. It's no pressure, baby. Eastside, that mama Ego is a zest bar. Yeah, Ego's kind of going into the boxing. Ego's heading into the DJ academic. I think that's what he wants to do.
Candyland version.
Yeah, not even that. It's worse than that because he's actually like, yeah, it's worse because he's actually like complimenting braids and hair and looks, and he's going into conversations that's kind of awkward, kind of like how homie did a little bit earlier.
Crazy. And then to say other men are copying off of this guy. Now, you know what's funny? I was watching on Twitter, on X, the gold chain video, right? And they're like, oh, Devin got a gold chain because Devin took a picture with Floyd before he did. Was it Devin with Floyd before Tank? Number one. Didn't Earl Spitz have that same type of crusted gold chain on? Yeah. Then Floyd had those crusted chains on before Tank. Then AB had those chains on. I'm like, yo, why do they keep trying to say this dude doing everything first? You know what I mean?
Leave boxing. Didn't every rapper have those? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, that's all that's happening is that these dudes are doing what everybody else does.
Yeah, it's trend setting, and I get it. And it's not just him; it came from someone else.
Didn't Lil Baby have that on? Didn't I don't know. I don't know these guys. Let me stop.
Was he the first one with braids? I know Earl had braids, right? Didn't Earl have braids?
I don't know who they are. I know Lil Baby, Gunna, Young Thug, and I probably know them more so because of the jail situation, because of the court situation. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to the Drake.
Young
Gurk. Yeah, Young Gurk and or Young Turk or whatever his name is, and all those guys. You know what I mean?
The anti-baby, little baby, baby badass. Oh.
Yeah, they all got that jewelry on, man. How about the females? Maybe I don't even start because I was gonna say maybe Tank is going off a Little Mama or Glorilla or the same chains too. And all those other girls in the game.
I don't know about you. Gorilla, fine chick, bro.
Oh, Lil Durk, right? East Side, right? Lil Durk, bro. My bad, bro. That's what it is. Lil Durk, bro. What I say? I didn't say Lil Durk.
You did.
I didn't say Lil Durk.
You said it wrong. You did say something else, but you said little something, and then you said Dirt. Like, kind of, it's cool.
I don't know what his name is, bro. That's why I didn't want to get in that conversation. I knew I was about to expose myself. As soon as that conversation started, I knew I was about to expose myself.
Look, the Boxing Hacker came back and told us that he's a strange guy. Hey, man, to each their own, Boxing Hacker. I don't listen. They all strange to me.
I mean, he kind of went off the rail a little bit. He went from like, and he has a big following. He's one of like the original guys, right? Like he has like 300 plus. I think he has more subscribers than even of Showbiz does. Showbiz
he's one of the original. I think he's been doing it for like 8 years. I used to follow him handily. Like,
I said Dirk.
Yeah, you said Young Dirk.
No, you said Young Dirk. That's Young Dirk is what I said. Instead of Lil Dirk, I said Young Dirk.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I was like, you said Dirk, but I don't know what you said.
I don't know, man. It is what it is. My bad, bro. I'm glad you corrected me. Lil Durk. That's what his name is. But ain't he in jail right now too? He dealing with some situations right now his damn self, right? But
his Chrome Heart jail suit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. It is. All these content creators are helping him out. Believe it or not. No doubt, LaRon, for sure. For sure. I agree with you. On contrary, talking about, I saw so many content creators on my Ego. Yeah, man. Ego is I watch Ego from time to time. I know what Ego's one of those content creators. I know what he's doing. And I watch it understanding that. And what is he doing? When it comes to Devin, Devin and Bill got something going on, clearly. And he's focus on cooking them. And that's what his content's going to be about. So I actually enjoy his content from time to time. You know what I mean? I see where he's going with it. But I think he did go a little far with the tattoos and the braids and all the stuff he was talking about. I think he just went a little too far, in my opinion, my personal opinion. I think he kind of left the boxing hemisphere and went into some other thing. But it is what it is, man. I watch him, bro, though. I think Ego's doing his thing, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ego. All these content creators up in Eastside, so many youngs and lils. I don't blame you. Yeah, man, Eastside, bro. I'm telling you, man. I think Blue said it one time. I'm an R&B dude at this point, man.
You ain't lying. They got
I listen to some R&B and I listen to some gospel music in 2 seconds, bro. I ain't gonna even hold you, bro. I'm not even doing the rap like that. I can't even lie to you. I don't even know what's going on in the hip hop game. It sounds like serial killer music to me. The stuff I hear, I ain't gonna lie. It lets me know how old I am because it's like burning my ears. I'm like, what? It's like serial killer music to me. I can't hear it. Even my son start bumping it. He's not here right now, but he'll tell you. I'll be like, yo, how do you listen to this? What are you listening to right now? This dude is just talking about killing the whole block. Yo, he got all the murders, bro. He got all the murders. I hope none of these murders is real. Did he kill any of these people for real? Because he's about to go away, bro. Do you see what happened to Boosie? Nah, it's just music. It's just music. Jesus. It's just music. Damn, bro.
Killing themselves. It's crazy.
Yeah, bro. It is what it is, man. So I left it alone a long time ago. And if I do listen to hip hop, which I do, you know, it's gonna be, you know, 2000s, mid 2000s, late 90s. You know what I'm saying? Anything between 1990, 91, all the way to like 2000.
Boot Camp Click, NWA.
Yeah, Boot Camp Click, Smith and Wesson. You know what I'm saying? Helter Skelter. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be listening to the Woo, obviously. Anything Meth, 50. I'll go as my new stuff to me is like 50. Jay, that's like new stuff for me. Like I listen, it's Nas. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with. That's new. But after that, anything after that, I don't know nothing about it. Man. It is what it is. Yeah, man. Hey, if you guys haven't hit the like button, please make sure you do that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe. Share. My wife told me to tell you guys share the channel with people. Today's show was all right, man. I had a good time, man, talking about some good boxing.
I wish Boxing Eagle came up, but he at work crunching numbers.
Yeah. He doing what he doing, man. They know what the future is, man. So I ain't gonna matter. He making a whole bunch of money. I ain't making no money like he is out here. So
he can consider it this way. Oh, he did already.
Oh yeah, boxing hacker. You ain't lying. That's real, man. That's real. That dude has been on a I don't know what you're doing campaign since the moment he came out in the boxing space. And I don't hold no ill will to him. I don't know him. Me and him can't have an issue. I don't have an issue with him. I doubt we have an issue. I doubt he even knows I exist. You know what I'm saying? But from the beginning, it's been a Victor Conte, Terrence Crawford shootout. From the beginning, it's been like honestly since the Errol Spence fight. Since the Errol Spence fight, it's been like, Snack, it's been PDs, it's been Glovegate, it's been Victor Conte, and he's built his whole entire I think he's got a lot of subscribers now too. Like he's doing his thing, like he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But I don't know how that adds up to anything going on in boxing. I don't know how it does yet. But I have a feeling like one day something's gonna happen to where he's gonna be like vindicated. Like something's gonna happen to where I've been telling you guys, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it's gonna be like this big thing for him, bro.
Well, here's the thing. I know it's freedom of speech and stuff like that, but isn't there also laws of protection? Like you can't really say slander, right?
Yeah, I think he, in my opinion, he plays on that edge. He borders that. I don't know if he actually crosses the line. I don't watch his content. I watch his content like when he first came out, and I gave it like about a good month, and I just started realizing that it was all about what he was doing. So I stopped. And obviously I watched the Victor Conte interviews that he did as well. But I always said that from the beginning, saying that somebody he's pushing a story or a narrative as if these guys are using performance enhancement drugs. That's what I'm hearing. But I guess he's not really saying that. He's more so saying it's in question. Right? Like he's trying to say, how can I not question it if you're dealing with this person who has this history? So I guess he's able to kind of like float in that area and to move his content that way, huh?
It's a habitual line stepping.
Right. So he if they ever try to sue him, he can always. I think he's an intelligent person who's probably knowing how to say what he's saying, right? So it is what it is. But I can tell you, I don't get no kind of boxing scholarship from it.
Well, it's funny because some of the fighters that he supports, they use violence.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of them work with that. I talked to you about this earlier. I was like, bro, I can tell you right now. I think Earl did a snack thing when he was getting prepared for Ugas. He was in snack gym. I know he did body testing. He's in the clean boxing program. He's been there for years.
I'm gonna tell you like this: if I seen a boxer take a needle and stick it in his arm, right, and just inject whatever's in the needle into his arm, if he does not pop on the test, I'm not calling him a PED cheater, bro. I don't know. What he put in his arm obviously wasn't
diabetes.
You feel me? Like, I'm not doing this with you. Like, I'm not doing this with you. So I don't need to tell you about somebody I've never even seen drink a protein shake before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you sit there, got evidence of somebody popping, and then they've got IVs in their arm that shows that they're trying to get rid of whatever they got in their system.
Right. And then he pops.
Right.
And that was a perfect example you brought up, because until he popped, nobody even cared about the IV. We was all good with it. Like, all right, man, he must be working in the rules. But as soon as he popped, now the IV became like, what the hell? So the whole time, so we weren't even saying he was using PEDs when he was showing us, you know what I'm saying, that he was doing things.
Drinking, the masking. It's crazy.
We still let it go. We still let it ride. Like, hey, man, he's just hurting himself. He's just hurting himself. And then when he popped on the PED, then we went back and looked at all of it. Hold on, marijuana is a diuretic. It covers up. It's used to cover up performance enhancement drugs. Oh, hold on, he was using IVs. Oh, the IVs is used to wash it out your system or cover it up or dilute it or whatever have you. That's when all these things came into question. So I'm not into the whole he's affiliated with somebody who helped people cheat back in the day, so how can we believe he's not cheating nonsense? Bro, there are doctors in the space that are just like him, who are working in the game right now, helping athletes cover up performance enhancement drugs every single day. And not just in boxing, football, basketball, tennis, cross training, bike riding, marathon runners. This has been happening forever, bro. People have been getting away with it forever. You think that when they catch somebody, that's it? No, they don't catch way more people than they catch. You know what I'm saying? For every one person they caught, there's 150, 200 people that went right through the damn security gate. You know what I'm saying? Juice to their gills. You know what I mean? And Victor Conti doesn't represent every single cheaters. You know, like they act like if Victor Conti shouldn't be allowed in the game, then no scientist should be in the game. No nutritionist should be in the game. None of those guys. They're all doing the same damn thing.
You know, it's funny. What do you have to do in college to become a phlebotomist? Not a phlebotomist like you just like a chemist. I'm sorry, inside the lab. You take chemistry. You have to deal with blood, right? You have to deal with samples and stuff and learn how to read it. So when I heard that, oh, he's not even a phlebotomist. Why is he taking blood? I'm like, you know, chemists take blood samples in the hospital and they are able to mix different things to find out what's in the system. That's what they do. There's a chemist that work in the lab. I don't know if you guys knew that, but okay. Y'all have it your way. It's crazy work, man.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. And I just think that, you know, we got to be honest. I'll be honest and say that you're not saying this stuff you're saying because it's true. You're saying it because you're trying to get into controversy because you think that you've adopted and subscribed to the idea that controversy is what's going to make your channel move and what's going to get you profitable. And I can respect it. That you're doing it with that purpose behind it, but I think there is there's a disingenuousness about it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lack of integrity in it to a degree. You know, you don't have any real proof that nothing's happening, and you're trying to scar somebody's legacy and scar somebody's accolades and their achievements with nonsense at the end of the day. You're trying to push this narrative or this jacket you're trying to put on them for doing something that you have no proof they did. And the only thing that you have to say that they did do something is about affiliating them with somebody who's did his time and who the space as far as the sanctioning bodies are aware of his presence and have not drawn a line in the sand as to where he can be or where he can't be. You know what I'm saying? Or they have, and he's working inside those parameters. He's obviously in compliance. You know what I'm saying? With whatever he's being compliance with. So sitting there trying to, and then when you do it for a specific fighter and you don't shed light to the other fighters that you support who are also working with him, and it makes it even more disingenuous.
You know, I love when Boxer Hacker be on some of these chats, bro, and I be listening in the background at work, and they'll be like, well, you know, Victor Conte can't work with Bada, da da da. And I remember saying one time, well, Victor, they played the video, and I was like, he just said he works for USADA and WADA. Hold on, time out. But y'all only kicking Vada's back in. Victor Conte, Boxer Hacker literally said that the other day. Mm-hmm. And they totally was like, no, he don't. And they like trying to like dismiss it real quick. Yo, it's so funny how the needle moves real quick, bro, when it's not supporting their argument. And, right. And then they call him hacker, and they try to say like he's lying, and it'd be crazy work.
No, it is. It's interesting the way they try to put all this emphasis on Victor Conte. As soon as he comments on something on Twitter, it's like, you cheat. Nobody want to hear from you. He's the best person to speak on it.
Let's be honest, Clay. I mean, he did do what he did, right? So, I mean, it's deserved. Yeah. But at the same time, he also has knowledge of this. So, I mean, even though it's deserved, it's still knowledge that he can give you. So, you know what I mean? Take one with the other.
Right. And like when he says that he could show you how to cover up the PEDs, right? Like he knows how to, you know, he's not saying that so you can, he's letting you know that he's letting you know that the doctors in this space, that he's basically letting you know that fighters are using PEDs every day. Us doctors, not just him, know how to cover that up. The only way you're going to catch it is by having the testing being 365, 24/7. You have to pop up on them all year long, whether they're in training camp or they aren't training camp, to catch the most that you can, because it's still going to slip through. They're still going to slip through, but that's your best bet. Testing them for 8-week period, 9, 10-week, 12-week period isn't proving that these guys aren't on performance enhancement drugs and that they're not benefiting off that when they're getting into these fights. And that's why Errol came out the other day and put his little tweet out there about how he could just be sitting there doing all kinds of things and there's nobody who's going to catch him because they're not testing guys enough to catch them. And that's what he's saying. How can you take a statement like that and turn it into, that's why we don't need him into the sport, when he's literally telling you something he knows firsthand? He's probably one of the best guys that ever do it. Non-Finger says, seems like y'all defending Victor. We're not defending Victor. What we're saying is getting him out the sport, and the capacity that he's in the sport doesn't help shit. It doesn't help nothing. It doesn't move nothing because the whole game is doing it. There's 1,000 Victor Contes in the game, 1,000 of them.
Can I ask you a question, Clay?
Mm-hmm.
When they were cheating in NFL and NBAs and stuff like that prior to Victor Conte, were there doctors involved and pharmacists of that nature at that time? Absolutely. Was Victor Conte one of them? No. So what do you mean? The advancements of medicine is what it is. You can't just blame Victor for it. We're looking at it only in the sense of that's the guy that got caught. That's all.
Right. We keep thinking that because he's developing a product or because he's in the space that cheating is happening. Like, no, cheating is happening anyway. But if he's saying that 365, 24/7 testing is the only way, how can you disagree with that? How can you disagree with more testing not helping the situation? More testing is what the situation needs. It's what's called for is more testing, preferably 365. I can tell you right now, the UFC fighters, when they jump into the VADA pool, when they jump into fighting, they're on 365. They'll all tell you they're all on 365. They're getting tested all year round. Yep. That's why they caught so many people in UFC using, from John Jones to Chael Sonnen to all these fighters that got caught using performance enhancement drugs because they had 365. Meaning when these dudes was out chilling at a barbecue with their family, they could get popped up on and they'd have the van pull up and like, we need you to jump in the van and go piss. You feel me? We need you right now. They had to know where they were going to be at. It's the reason why Conor McGregor hasn't returned to the UFCs, because he has to jump in that pool, which means even though he's not fighting, he's susceptible to be tested. The UFC pays for this to happen to try to keep it as clean as possible, and people still get through. But how can Victor Conte saying 365, 24/7 testing is official, and you go, I'd believe it if it wasn't for the fact that Victor said it? What? What are we talking about? A wise man once told me, a liar telling the truth don't make the truth a lie.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? A liar telling the truth does not make the truth a lie, bro. We got to start using our common sense and our discernment and the things that we're saying and how we're hearing things.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is what it is.
It's hard to do so.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
Yeah. All right. So
it's definitely about that time. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's definitely about that time. I want to salute to everybody who came into the building today, man. Showing love, you know what I mean? Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, we'll be back tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time, about 1:45 p.m. We'll be on here building on this boxing, man. You want to say anything to the people, Ray, before we let them go?
Yeah, man. Always thank you for being here. Always thank you for your support. You know what I mean? Thank you for supporting boxing in general and not just being one man band. You know what I mean? Let's bring it all to one community, and by doing so, hey man, you know what I mean? Share the channel, like we said, like Mrs. Rain said, share the channel and let's get the likes up. Let's keep us going. You know what I mean?
Subscribe. Hit the likes. Thank you guys, man. Salute to you guys for being in the building. Until the next one. At this point.
They hate when you elevate. Second the blouse with some feel like I'm floating. I never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they want to come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies, all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. Yeah, I had to ball, so I had to renovate. I know they hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. Ooh, yeah. Why they wanna put me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't come it down. Yeah, I'm way too fired up. I can't slow down. Ooh, yeah. I see the flashing lights. Make sure the fashion right, yeah. I'm in my bag tonight, yeah. Ooh, I might just pull up a foreign. Watch out, the engine is roaring. It's too loud, you can ignore it. Yeah. This that highlights for the view. You get to have it all, no need to choose. First, let me demonstrate how you can rise to the top. Yeah, I had to elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah, I had to elevate.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight.
They hate when you elevate.